So that said, you got on the Havoc. You've got pretty much a full crew complement at this point, including a new crew member called Mr. Barnes. That's Ian Barnes, who's helping with lore and organizing the ship.
Sounds shady.
Yeah, I know. Not legit. And effectively, the Havoc does set sail. There isn't. This is the first time where the two of you will have noticed that there hasn't been a big teary goodbye or farewell, or here's your parting consolation prizes and gift basket. That this is just the first time you just kind of left, and nobody really kind of acknowledged the contributions you made. So, question: how
the entire island and no one gives a fuck.
Yeah. So, question: how is that affecting? I'm going to ask you both the same question. How is that affecting Rook right now?
Not being
the hero of the hour kind of thing.
I have no. It does not register with him at all, considering Rook figures you give it 2 or 3 days, and there will be 7 different stories of 7 different Rooks doing something somewhere where he isn't.
Yeah.
So right now, as far as his reputation, he can give a shit.
Okay. And how is Pren dealing with it? Considering she's on her way to deityhood, with a few pit stops off the local gas
station. The deityhood thing is, I don't think she's figured that out. She knows what's his face, but she doesn't think it's actually a thing.
I do absolutely love the fact that you are completely oblivious to this. No one else is. Like, everyone else is completely, it's like, yep, this is happening. You're like, what?
What's happening, huh?
Okay.
But I'm not upset that there's like no fanfare, but I am a little perturbed that there's no acknowledgement or appreciation, and I kind of, what's going on here? This is weird.
Okay. So, Havoc set sail. Where are you guys headed specifically?
It was to the Dragon Island.
Yes.
Okay, and do you know how to get there?
We have directions in my head.
It is that way.
It's like Teen Titans Go. We just charge out the window and run in a direction, and we appear to be where it is.
Yeah, it's kind of like Lord Guru. You're so old and wise. How old are you? I am this many. You didn't hold up your hand. That's how old I am.
Somebody once told me, it's like, Vex, you need to start running. I just looked at them. I'm 44. This is me running. Continue walking. As the older you get, the more you understand Gandalf. You really do. Yeah. All right. So you had visions in your head?
Yeah, remember?
No. No, it wasn't a question. It was a statement.
Oh, okay.
It was you have visions in your head, ... Okay?
It sounded like a...
No.
It was in the middle of a sentence and it was coming out.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. So, I am going to use the...
Oh, by the way, Ian says hi.
Oh, hey Ian. So, I'm going to have you guys make a teamwork roll. I'm going to try it this way if I can. It will be a montage and a combination of your lore, but also you're using the crystal's call to me for the vision. So this is what I'm wanting. Ideally, and I read this in the new condensed rules. I can do it like this. It's effectively.
Telling my grandfather, shut
up. Oh, hey! And someone else. Dragomir?
Oh, it's Void! Hey, Void! How's it going? How are you and Agnes? So effectively it's this. You are going to be channeling the visions that you've been having of where the Dragon's Island Havendur is located through the crystals. You are going to basically force your mind to go into that vision, but slower, and kind of take notes. And when that is done, you're going to effectively go over to Rook, and he is going to be pouring through his tomes, and the two of you are going to collaborate, and also getting an assist from Mr. Barnes, if you would like.
You're going to hate me. I'm going to have a table of books that are open in no particular order.
Yeah. Okay. So does that make sense? So effectively,
Kind of, except that Crystal's called me is not a skill roll.
yeah, I know. I'm
Right.
I'm narratively tapping into that.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
So I need you. Hang on for a split second. That's what I need. I need you to make a will roll. And what you are effectively doing, as I said, is you are delving into the memory of visions you previously had, and trying to get glimpses of anything that might be useful to you.
Okay. She gave me a map and everything.
Yeah.
Okay. Five.
Okay. And
It's not a flat plus whatever.
no. Okay. No. So actually.
Because you said teamwork roll, and usually that's flat.
Yeah,
Is this different?
so you're doing, yeah. This is a little bit different because I'm doing it on a victory point system. So you got a 5?
Yeah.
Okay. And I need you to make a roll.
Lord?
Yes, please. All right.
Well, while he's rolling, Boyne says that him and Agnes are doing not too bad. So,
Excellent.
all things considered, that's probably, with the world's on fire.
Roll me a 6.
6. All right. So where do
I'm an
you,
old-timey prospector right now. We're gonna go with it.
so where do you normally do your kind of visioning thing when you're on the Havoc? Where do you go to?
It would be either the engine room if it's relatively isolated, or it'd be whatever my space is, my room, my whatever.
Your cabin.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's just say for the sake of argument, you pick one of them. You did not succeed with style, but just describe what it looks like when Pren does her thing.
Kind of boring.
Just standing there, eyes glaze over.
Sitting down.
Okay.
It looks like she's meditating.
Okay. So from anybody else walking by, and sticking their head in, it's like, okay, Pren's just doing her Mall Street yoga. Surprisingly enough, you don't know this. Snow the Green Rabbit is actually not that far away from you. So when he sees it go into trance, his job is just to kind of shoo everybody away and make a big deal about it. So Chauncey kind of swings by and looking in. She's got that look like she's going to come in and offer you a drink. And Snow is there, and he's just giving, how dare you, Lady Pren is...
I can see him having a table like all offerings to the Lady Pren while she is communing with the celestial entities can be left here. Also monetary. Have a monetary concept.
And
Because he's a jerk.
Actually, I couldn't see him doing that. And by the way, the green dye is still sticking. So as you're doing it, your eyelids kind of start coalescing and becoming darker and darker and darker and black. And you actually find yourself kind of standing on the prow of the Havoc, except it's kind of devoid of colors. Everything is just kind of black and white with shades of steel gray. And the first thing that you notice is that you can hear the call of all these different crystals you've never heard before. And as you look around, there are hundreds and hundreds of derelict skyrships. Small ones, destroyers, corsairs, merchant vessels, just kind of drifting crewless. One of the things that really strikes you is they look like they all suffered the same kind of damage, like they were hit by meteorites or exploding cannonballs. Like hulls have been shattered, mass have been laid to waste. There's nothing finesse about these. These aren't like the claw attacks from the giant bats or the beam attacks from the Night Mistress. This is brutal, destructive, traumatic damage done to these massive vessels. And as the havoc starts going through, you notice that in the distance you can see two humanoid figures, and the fact that they are so far off, you can see them so clearly. You must think they're maybe, I don't know, 80 feet each. And then a flash of lightning goes off in the background, and you can see them a little bit more. And then all of a sudden you're kind of standing on this platform, and there's this other figure, probably about 9 feet tall, clear translucent faceplate, moving at you and moving towards you, and as it does, it kind of points at two bladed hands. And you get this feeling of terror just kind of seeping into the back of your head. A second later, you're pulled through the big gates it was standing in front of, and you're in the center of what can only be described as this. It would be Ian's worst nightmare. It is a dragon's horde of books, piles upon piles upon piles. And you can hear the soft murmuring from deep underneath, like there is something beneath it, just emanating outwards. And then the last vision you get is this room filled with endless doors, and they're not hallways, they're just kind of floating above each other. And there's one particular door with a soft, radiant glow emanating off of that. And then you hear this deep, deep voice. It kind of sounds like ice rolling over gravel. And it's like, it just says, it says 4 words, "You do not belong." And it echoes it again, "You do not belong." And then you wake up with a sudden snap of the neck. And you can feel the sweat just pouring over you. And for a while, you are cold and clammy. And you've got this feeling of being completely disconcerted. Make a will roll for this one.
4.
Okay, you just got it. No mental stress on this one, but you're definitely not in a great frame of mind. Something just psychically pushed you out of that vision.
Weird.
Okay.
Okay.
And that, I'm going to say that just for the sake of montage,
Mm-hmm.
that is the information that you are going to be giving to him. So.
Info dump.
So, Snowfall was after you. He's like, "Lady Pen, what did you see? What happened? I was so worried. You seem so unlike yourself. Is this good news? Grave news? Is it tidings?"
A mix.
And he's like, "Next." And he's like, pulls out his little scribe's tablet, starts jotting notes. You eventually, get to where Rookleby. And you hear Ian's voice, "What in tarnation? This is not an organizational system.
It is when I'm
You can't bend books like, is this a dog ear? Do you dog ear? Oh, saints protect me. At least allow me."
Okay, hang on. I was going to back up the GM for a minute. I am not a monster. I do not dog ear pages and books.
You are not a monster.
Neither is he. Has far too much respect for books,
Okay.
especially books.
And old ones.
So the
They're expensive.
answer is no. You did not dog ear.
No, I did not.
Yeah. The previous owners, however.
Oh. All right. So 1, I did not dog ear them. These are your books, so if anyone's guilty of that. 2nd,
In the heart.
I need all of these open in the specific pages so I can glean and glint and glance at the information that I need at hand to come up with a solution to the world-ending problem that we are currently facing. So if this is too much for your delicate sensibilities, might I show you to the door? And I'll just point to the porthole.
He's like, Very well. Well, if it's the end of the world and it's obvious that neither you nor your books can survive without me, I will be glad to offer my services. Starts organizing them and pulling up them. And you notice something about the way he does it? He's actually doing it in a way that is kind of conducive to exactly the way you said you read. When you said a glint and a glare, he's like, plenty books go over here, organized as such. Glary books, you need a little bit more, spreading them out.
I need you to do me a favor. I need you to open the door.
Opens the door, and that's where Pren is there, and she's got snow just at his ankles. Mixed tidings of doom or glory. I think it's safe to hedge our bets for the Holy Scriptures, or whenever Roscoe publishes them. Yes. Oh, hello, Rook.
Sorry, the what?
Oh, look, it's Rook! Sidesteps out of the sea.
Info dump. Do we really want me to retell it, all of it?
You don't have to retell, but basically montage of her describing everything.
So, cannonballs?
Can I, what was his name? The honorary misanthrope's Treaties of Dragons.
Yes.
Do you have that?
Yeah, Ian actually takes a look. Yes. He's got 2 copies of those on hand.
Fantastic.
But they are both in partial copies. That's why he's got 2 copies.
Okay.
So, and there's still pages that neither one of them have, but depending on what you need, he should be able to find it.
Okay, fantastic. All right, so we are looking for anything involving an aerial graveyard. So, what even caused that? Like a gravitational shift?
I'm wondering if it's the Guardian that the person who gave us the key was talking about.
Maybe.
So,
see if there's any references to a hallway of doors.
Yeah, and he starts going on that and pulls out several different books, pulls on these little gearwork spectacles, lights a candle, and starts going to work on that.
I would also like to look through the books.
Okay.
And roll a 5 from
Okay. Okay, so what are you looking for specifically?
Effectively, the looking through. I'll be looking through the Trees and Dragons.
Okay.
And seeing any references to like the catacombs of floating doors,
okay.
Or even just like an airship graveyard.
Okay. I need you to pick one of those specifically.
We'll go with the floating doors first.
Okay, floating doors first. And what are you researching as you're poring over these thick, dusty tomes? Some are leather-backed, some are multiple transcriptions, some are actually illuminated with flecks of gold and missing gems.
I'm also trying to figure out, like, what's going on. I'm trying to figure out what's going on with the boats. And I'm thinking it's probably the Guardian that we were warned about, but...
So are you looking for the figures or one of the boats specifically?
The figures? Oh, no, not the boats specifically. I'm looking at, I guess the figures. I was more looking for information about anything.
Because I will say that among your vision, you would have recognized, there would have been the names of several of the boats that you would have picked up.
I mean,
if I could recommend,
they didn't come back, so the information about them is probably not that useful.
It might, actually. Any of the big ships, like the really big military ships, will have had a heading. They wouldn't have been able to leave port without having some sort of heading from the military that they belong to. If they went towards a certain area and never returned, that gives us a heading at the very least.
I thought we already had the heading.
You do have that heading on the map that the Queen of Thorns gave you?
Yeah, but I also was visited by that one god, and she gave me, like...
Yeah, and she gave you that direction as well. So...
What about any references to an air... I was going to look for it here, but like an airship graveyard. There's always some weird... Okay, if you never wanted anyone to show up at your front lawn, anyone at all, if you didn't want to get any well visitors, best way to do it, quarter mile outside your house, well body parts.
Unfortunately, that would actually get a lot of visitors, but yes.
Well, you know what I mean.
Okay.
It's a warning.
Yeah.
So what are you looking for specifically?
I'm more looking around those twin figures.
Okay.
Because we've got a heading. I'm not too worried about that, Rick.
Yeah. The first thing I'm going to say it takes a couple. This is not like a 40-minute reference material. You guys are spending most of the night poring over this. Chauncey has gone from bringing you brews to bringing you like steaming cups of coffee, like pictures on that. Bowie's even kind of come down. He came down once, which is unusual for him because he's normally taking care of the ship. And he's like, he's like, how's it going? And he's like, fresh candles, and he put some thick candles there. Had to deal with some filots earlier. Nothing big. Have you guys figured out where we're going yet? Because things are getting hectic out there.
General heading?
Aren't we on our heading?
He's like, keep
what do you mean by hectic?
Yeah, it's a funny thing, and he just basically we got reports from the Obsidian Combine that things ain't going so well there. More than just bats are showing up. Anyway, they're under attack, not doing so good, but they've sent out little birdies in every direction to warn everybody what's going on.
Out of curiosity, did they just seem to be like random flying beasts? Seemingly just kind of spastic in their movements?
The ones he's saying are like, he's basically saying that there's walkers that have, and you remember the walkers from Armor City?
Oh shit.
And it's not just bats, it's like the drakes that you saw before, just smaller versions of the other ones.
Alright. Keep your eyes open for anything like the fire loss that you were talking about. You're probably going to see a lot more of them. It's like a pack of wolves running through a forest. The birds are going to leave.
He's like, he just kind of looks, he gives you a nod, and that's when you hear Chauncey. It's like, boss, do you want to know? It's like, I don't have time for this. Roscoe. Yes, boss. I need you up top. Somebody's got to man the turret. Ashley's shift is over. I need her downstairs. Yes, boss. So they go off. He leaves you the big thing of candles. About hour 4, hour 5, you do catch a break. There is a mention that it's called the Corridor of Doors, except it's not a corridor. It's effectively a floating chasm of doors. And the reference you catch is that there's 3 fairy tales, like kids' stories, old ones, of dragons who have these vaults, and they contain the most dangerous and important of portals. The first fairy tale you read is that in this vault or corridor of floating doors, behind one door is a land, a realm of absolute beauty and bliss and nirvana. And another one, it's a place of frigid wastelands and misery and monsters. And behind the very last door is where the dragon actually chose to hide its heart. And that's the story that the dragon was seeking the dragon's heart to force it to grant you a wish. And the really, really interesting thing about this story, the thing that kind of snaps to you, is the way that you gained entrance. There's this big ornate door that requires a very thick key to enter into it, allegedly in the story. But the way that the little girl was able to get to it is a fake door. Mm-hmm. That door leads you to a never-ending maze. There is actually a door hidden somewhere in the wall nearby, and you have to figure out how to activate that door to get into that corridor of doors. So that's what you find.
Okay.
So your kind of burglary instincts kind of, false fronts. Yeah, that makes sense. You, on the other hand, it takes you a little bit longer because you're like, okay, I've been around everywhere. I've never encountered any like humanoids that could be that big. And then you come across a couple of logs of basically a couple of logs of some of the earliest mystics from your own tradition. You've got that. And as you're just kind of flipping through, just kind of looking, something kind of strikes at you. On the last page of one, there's a reference to effectively, they weren't sure if they were well or not, but they were basically rock giants. But here's the thing, they weren't made out of crystal like the well. They would have been well had they been crystal, but they were just stone. But they weren't automatons, and they weren't constructs. They weren't golems. They were sentient creatures. Like, they should have been well, but they weren't well, but they should have been. And this kind of led to this huge theological crisis this mystic had. Could there be other things out there than the well? But 80 feet tall, large hands, live in the tallest spires of the tallest islands, preferring frigid climates, all seems to resonate very clearly with the vision that you had.
Anything about them at all, or just that they exist and are?
Actually, that you did find that the well tried basically doing the crystal call with them. It didn't work. The only thing that they could really tell you about is that they seem to be solitary, violent, and they track by sound. That's how the well was able to escape. Effectively, they wrap themselves up in furs and just very slowly inch their way through their territory. Like, effectively, what would take us a 10-minute walk took them 45 minutes. Yeah.
I don't think we can take the Havoc.
Why not?
I found a reference to...
Oh, you're covering...
Oh, I don't think we can take the Havoc. I found a reference to the giants I saw in the vision at the graveyard. They track by sound. The Havoc's never going to be quiet. It's always creaking.
That's when you hear Ian's voice. Well, gators and toast. Look, I found your graveyard right here. Take a look at this.
Gators.
No. He's like, he pushes the books aside, pulls out several scrolls of maps. Take a look at this. This is post the fall, pre-magical uprising, and he takes a look at these big islands. One big continent island came over here. We had all the little ones that formed the coalition. 400 years later, shink, 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 pulls out another map. There's a break in the center. They start drifting off. Takes out another map. This is us now. And basically, for a graveyard that size, it would have to be at the epicenter of what was once that big continent, and everything drifts south. So that would place it, pulls out another map, shink, pulls out a protractor, and a sextant, kind of squares it in, smack dab in the middle of there.
What's the middle of there?
That would be the polar nexus. We've got winter clothing and blankets on board, right?
That's not what I'm worried about.
It gets frigid up there, snowstorms, gales.
I'm not worried about the cold.
Okay.
At all. I'm worried about the magnetic fluctuations of being on a pole.
Yeah.
A world with floating islands.
Yeah.
Fast clock Chinese.
But that's where it is.
We might be able to distract them.
Well, I saw two. Doesn't mean there's only two.
Well, I know. I'm just saying, if we make enough noise in one direction, there's as little noise as possible in another.
That
I did this one night. We had friends with the owner of a brothel. Long story. Anyway, I paid the madam of the brothel to effectively cover the cost of, well, let's just say it was half price Wednesday, and told them that the loudest person would get a bonus. I was robbing the place next door. It was a tough call, but it ended up going to Sally. My God, the lungs on that one. Anyway, well, long story short, I got in and out without much of a hitch, really.
I mean, congratulations.
Thank you. I was actually rather proud of that.
But whoever we send to be the distraction probably won't get in and out without a hitch.
That's why we send the distraction on the Havoc, which is armed with very, very large guns. What? I'm all for another giant
There were
plan.
plenty of better armed ships in that graveyard.
That's when Jasper runs by, and if you could hear him panting, he would be, but you hear him just running by. Hi guys, nothing to worry about, absolutely no problems. He's kind of rustling around, you hear like some metal shells being moved. He's got like a stack of harpoons. Be right back! Starts running out with a couple chains kind of slung over his back, bolting up. You hear Bowie's muffled voice going on, and followed by the sounds of good chunk, good chunk, good chunk, good chunk, good chunk, good chunk. And there's a sound of like some kind of feral scream up top.
On the uphand, if we reach that graveyard and we go from ship to ship, that actually might work. Said it took them like 45 minutes to escape because they were moving real slow, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so imagine if we moved slowly from ship to ship and then we docked beside them. Stayed still.
Stayed hidden, and that would work better with something smaller.
Well, we do have a skiff.
That's when you hear the big cannon up top fire a couple more rounds, and Ross go, "You got 'em, good job, Jet, look out!" Thud.
We should probably go help.
You guys are...
I'm heading up. I gave the suggestion. I'm going up there.
Okay, so you go up there.
I'm well with her.
There is a lone bat. This one's a small one. It's only the size of a school bus. And that's kind of
Family. Wait, are we talking like wingspan is the length of the bus, or like the body is the bus?
No, the wingspan is the length of the bus.
Okay.
So
that is small for those.
That's a little bit better.
yeah.
Still big.
Mm-hmm.
So you see Roscoe standing over this bat, and it looks like it was put together from 4 or 5 humanoid corpses sewn together. With a
And they made it school bus sized?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, the bodies.
Because the entrails have been pulled out, and they've got effectively different crystals kind of forced into it.
Gross.
There was basically a worldling writer, and on inspection of this thing, it definitely looks like it was a Vulgate construct put together in a very similar way as the bat itself was. You can see like a large rabbit skull, and the spine is kind of fused at the back, and it looks like it's got part of somebody else's torso and rib cage kind of sewn together. But I need you both to make an investigative roll on this one.
Why do the Vulgate have to be so gross?
You work with what you got.
Damn it. I went to sleep. Sleepy.
2.
No, wait. Sorry. I spent 4 minutes. I spent 8 points. 4.
4. Okay.
5.
5. Okay. What really strikes you as being odd is it's not a well rider to keep the thing in check. Mm-hmm. It actually seems to be not so much rider at all, but actually part of the bat. And also, the thing is damn small, so they're making smaller scouting things that are able to travel further, but just don't look like they're really geared for combat. They're effectively creating what your brain says. They're creating spies. Remember in Return of the Empire Strikes Back? They're in Hoth. You got the probe droid.
Yeah.
That's effectively what these things are. What concerns you is that you kind of you see him prodding and poking around. You take a closer look, and you see at the base of the bat skull is this metal spike. It's like a railroad spike with these spinning gears on the inside, and there's a crystal shard about yay big embedded into it. It's just like the mind control crystals that you guys encountered, except this thing is crude. So you're able to figure out that this thing is not a sentient rider and mount like everything else you've created. It is one single abomination that is being puppet controlled, mind controlled from afar. So they're trying to expand their designs.
Why would they puppeteer one of their own creatures? I mean, we know they can get images via the crystal, so why are they doing it this way?
Smaller rider, smaller bat, further flight distance, but lower endurance. Son of a bitch, they're not expecting it to come back.
No, they're not. But why puppet it? Why not just send it out like a shitty version of, well, the Rooks?
Well, because if you puppet it, you can send them in specific directions.
Maybe.
You also notice that it's got 6 harpoons sticking out of it, cursory Jasper.
Is it bothering you that they can't seem to see us?
What do you mean they can't seem to see us?
The acolyte guy, the guy that's clearly making all of the gearwork crap for the prince. He had no idea we were there. The prince has known where we were at all times, damn near all the time. And yet, one of his second in commands?
Yeah, wouldn't that mean that we basically, for a while there, lost them? I mean, for a long time they knew exactly where we were because they had cameras in. They had a camera in Sapphire, and then they had a camera in the guard, and.
What if we're being shielded? Because it didn't happen until I got this thing, and until you started coming into your half god thing.
Oh, don't you start with that.
And that's when you hear Roscoe's voice and like a gentle bare arm on your shoulder. He's like, I apologize to interrupt, Brooke, but if you aren't going to help us shoot them down, could you just move over to the side a little?
Oh God, there's more?
Wait, what?
You guys have been talking. There's actually a flock of them. There's actually about 2 squads of 6 each, slowly approaching.
Jesus, Roscoe, when we come up on deck, just lead with that, and then we'll do the talking part.
I do not want to be rude. You are newly ascended, and everybody is...
You know what?
To the levels of herohood, as it says so here in what will be my next new book, The Heroes of Herohood.
Okay, we'll talk about that later.
That's when you hear.
Let's shoot down the things. Oh, my life.
I gave Lady Thorn an advance copy.
I bet she was
Oh, we
that might explain why she was so put off.
I'm now nervous to know what's in. Why am I talking like
Are you mocking me? He doesn't actually say that, but I couldn't resist. Anyway, squadrons of bats attack. There are 2 squads of bats, exact same kind of the worldling monstrous hybrid. I won't go into detail, we just did it. You've got, first squad is kind of circling above, trying to figure out where to come at. Second squad is coming up by the rear. You have Roscoe and Jasper are working defenses with the 2 of you right now. Bowie can't do too much. He's got the captain's wheel and is trying to keep everything on par.
I'm actually going to go to Bowie and tell him to change our trajectory slightly.
Okay. I'm going to let you have this as a free action, by the way.
Yeah, and I'm actually going to direct him away from where we need to go, because we do not want to leave these things there. So I want to veer off of where we're actually going, make it look like it's just a course adjustment. So not too much, unfortunately, but.
So I'm going to allow you to do this before combat starts. I'll let you roll deception to set up an aspect. Which is basically throw everyone off course.
Whilst I am going to use my gearwork arm to grab one of the harpoons that is currently in said bat and free it. So I have to
Okay.
So that was neutral.
Okay, so that's a time.
Give me a second. I'm trying to figure out if I can tap anything. My reputation precedes me because we're going forward. I'm really stretching, I know.
Yeah, that's a
lot of stretch.
You're like a bat wing at that point. You were very stretched out.
I will I'll allow you to say magic under fire by the most flexible graciousness of the GM's capabilities. Don't ever come here again. You may have your drink, enjoy it, but when you leave, don't come back. And that is the only time I will be that flexible.
We are in combat under fire. It works.
And get out. Okay, so
I'm adding a +2, so it comes out to a 4.
Okay. So you've just made it much harder for the Vulgate to track you, including the bats. Okay, so you pull out the harpoon. It is a double-bladed harpoon designed for spearing larger things.
Fantastic.
It probably weighs about 75 pounds.
Don't really care what it's on.
No, I know you don't, but I'm describing it for our viewers.
Okay.
The bronze, copper, gearwork winch system in the back, but there's no chains attached. All right. Now, you've got 6 in these squads, so how are you going to do this? Are you going to try and aim for one specifically? Are you going to try and hit 2? Are you going to use it as a melee weapon? What's the strategy?
Look at Roscoe. Do you have any grenades?
We have no grenades.
Any explosives?
We do not have any explosives, with the exception of the green Pren bottles that Snow made. I think he called them Pren cocktails.
Could I have one with some adhesive? With some adhesive wrap?
He kind of looks around and he's looking. And he's like, okay, he's gonna have to make a craft roll. Are you gonna craft this?
I can actually help the deal with the craft roll because I'm going to.
Do you have craft?
I do.
Then you make the craft roll.
All right then.
You do not want the 500-pound grizzly bear with a mechanical arm doing finesse work with explosives.
Then what I will do is, you said there was like 5 or 6 harpoons in there. I will. Okay. I rolled a neutral, so 2 for my craft. So effectively, I'm taking the Molotov cocktail and I'm taping it to the end. So when
you're here,
light it.
So you're doing that. I'm going to say that's your part. Who are you handing it off to? The bat squads or to Prem? Okay, you're up. What you doing?
I am going to.
You got circling bat squad and another one at the other end of the ship.
Okay, so they've got gems gemmed in them, but I'm basically going to reach out and see if I can sense the crystals in the. Actually, yeah, I'm going to reach out and see if I can sense the crystals in the control mechanism.
I'm just going to hand wave that and say that you can automatically sense them, but it's like picking out 5 or 6 different voices in an opera. They're all singing at the same time, and they're all very distinct and different, but sometimes they're kind of blending into each other, so it's kind of hard to isolate them per se.
Okay, I'm gonna try and pick the one furthest from the ship that I can still see.
Okay.
And I am going to see if I can get the crystal to shatter.
Okay. So you are definitely going to do that. Now, here's the thing. It is going to try and resist you on this.
Of course.
Okay.
So basically, I'm trying to shatter the crystal because I'm not wanting to directly reveal myself.
That's perfect sense.
If not, alright, so I got a 5 on that.
Yeah, you definitely shatter. It makes a loud popping sound. You see the flecks of red dust appear in the distance, and then it doesn't even spiral out. It just stops moving and starts to basically fall. Not even spiral, but fall.
Yeah, look, what'd you do?
Broke a crystal. Oh, that feels awful.
I need you to make a quick will roll.
I had rolled a will. I got. Oh, right, because that was for the backlash, I'm guessing.
Yeah,
7.
You're fine.
Would it be easier on you if you needed if you had a focus? Like something that had the same resonance? Like the spike that's currently in the corpse that's on the deck?
I mean, maybe I could.
Okay, so Bat Squad 1 is swooping in to attack Friend. But you did effectively reduce their number. Okay.
They're swooping into me.
Now, how are you going to do this? They are actually descending.
I am running the fuck away.
Okay, roll for it.
Oh, I like that roll. So that's a +4 on the roll, and my athletics 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Yeah. No, yeah.
Couldn't get that.
They effectively descend on. You got 7?
7.
They descend on you, and it's not that you're able to run from them, but it's not like they're chasing you. You're surrounded by a swarm, but you're able to duck and weave and force your way out. They're kind of getting in each other's way, but you're able to push yourself out and kind of slide underneath the mast, just as a couple claws descend where you would be. Second squadron coming after you.
Okay.
They see you doing stuff. They are not too happy about it. They're like, oh god, the green one moves too fast. How about the humans? They're usually soft and slow, made out of meat. Okay.
Got a 3 for athletics.
Okay. Give me a split second here. They also got a 3 for athletics. Not for athletics, for fight, so that is...
It's a tie, which means that they tag, but they don't actually...
Succeed at a cost.
Well, no, because if they succeed, they would be inflicting a wound, so wouldn't that be... Don't they just get a boost?
No, okay, so when you tie, effectively it means you succeed at a cost. Like, you do your thing, but, like...
Yeah, but
I might get the boost against them. Like
but if they're attacking, wounds, damage is.
It's succeed at a minor cost.
Yes, but they tag him at a minor cost, but they inflict no damage.
Yeah.
So they basically only get a cost. That can't be right.
Yeah.
As I said, they tag me. They do damage.
Yeah.
It's just there's some sort of cost, so I would either get a boost or there's a scene aspect that I can tag.
Okay, but if they do damage, how are they doing damage?
Because they succeed.
Yeah.
With a cost. Again, the success.
But the result is
Mariah, I understand what's going on, and I'm just basically saying at this time they flock around you. And what effectively they do is yeah, okay. Effectively, what they do is that they do a point of damage to you. But in doing so, what they've effectively done is, in order to...
I don't have a pencil.
Yes, you do.
There's a whole bunch. Or, there we go.
Effectively, what happens is that they learn from the bats dealing with Frank's character that flapping around and trying to chase is not a great idea. So they effectively all landed on the bridge, so they've got you surrounded. So that's kind of the thing that they've done. But effectively, what you've done is you've taken them out of the air.
Okay.
You've removed that
So
advantage from them.
it's a little easier for me to smite them.
So does that sound fair? You take a point of damage, but they're attacking you land-based instead of trying to fly around.
That's cool.
You get a boost.
Okay. So back on that, I get a boost. So
all that is exactly the same, except instead of 1 point of damage, it's a boost.
okay. Nope, that's perfect. So undo your damage, sir. They're still on the ground. They still don't like you. You still have no friends. Too harsh.
I guess I'll just have to stab them then.
Okay, so top of the round.
All right. So gunblade comes out, and I attack with him.
All right.
1, 2, so 5. It sounded like
now, are you specifically shifting your attacks on these guys, or?
No, I'll be just going one at a time. Like I'll choose one and attack it.
Okay.
So I rolled 5 for the attack roll. It's weapon 2.
Yeah, he's super butt dead.
I said / stab, pull the trigger.
I'm just for the sake of color. You do it anime style, where the blur lines are in the background. It zooms in on the gunblade. You've got the lines where it's thin, and then all of a sudden all the parts start sliding and the blood starts gushing.
Okay, so we're down to 4 of these guys?
In each squad.
Oh, in each squad. Yeah. So we're down to 5?
You've got
5 in each squad then? Because we took 1 out of each squad?
You got 2 squads of 6. So you're down to 2 squads of 5.
All right.
You can try and shift the damage between them if you want.
I know, I'm just trying to think. How much do I want to do?
And GM, just to clarify it, when you break these crystals, you have to make a wheel roll to protect from the psychic backlash. I know you know it, but I'm just reiterating that.
No, and it makes total sense. Heck, I mean, that could be a thing on breaking any of them. It's not exactly... So I'm going to do what Rook suggested and grab the spike out of the one that's on the ground and squishy.
Okay.
And I'm going to see if having it there helps me focus. But they're also closer now, so I'm expecting it to be easier. Are the other ones... Of the squad that attacked me, are they all still in the air?
Yeah.
Are they over? Are they on top of? Like, are they above the ship, or are they above dead air?
They're dead air. They're kind of fluttering around the ship.
But they're not actually. But they're not. If I drop one, is it going to hit the ship?
Oh yeah. But it's not going to impact it like.
It's not. It's going to hit the ship, but it's not going to hit the ship.
No, it's not going to impact it in such a way like a cannonball going off or anything like that. Basically, they're hovering 10 to 20 feet above the ship where you are, and they're kind of coming down and fluttering around you.
So it will hit the ship?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Okay, so if they do fall onto the ship, will there be any damage, or will we just have to dodge?
You'll just have to dodge.
Okay.
And possibly clean up the mess afterwards. I'll listen to Bo's bitching about it.
Yeah, we'll deal with that later.
Sure, it's worse than the disease.
Do I have to declare how many shifts?
Yes, you do.
Okay, fuck. Okay. Got it, but I didn't get it with style, which means that it was defend. I'm gonna attack 3 of them at once.
Sound effects, they're hissing at you. Claws, teeth. Undead mucus membranes.
I'm going to attack 3 of the ones going after me.
Alright.
I got a 6, This is totally magic, so like most of my aspects work on this, so I'm going to spend a fate point and bump that up to an 8.
Yeah, okay. So first one comes at you, you kind of focus in and you can hear the voice very clear. You're holding on the spike and you just command the force to go through you and it just shatters like a wine glass in front of a fat woman at the opera. The one circles around, kind of tries to do a sneak attack from behind. You just know it's there. You just extend your hand. Same thing. It lunges at you and it shatters in half, and the body just slumps and rolls across the deck, splaying the organs. Third one just dive bombs at you, and as it does, you just look up, and the crystal doesn't just shatter; it fragments and tears through the bat. And just that kind of viscerous spiral, and it does a dead, wet thump against it. Snow is on the deck. He's been sprayed with blood, and he's just in his claws. I'm sick.
I heard something seriously wrong with Snow.
Do you think? You're coming to this conclusion now?
No, but I feel like I need to point it out.
You need to make a will roll. Hang on, and be... Okay, go for it.
7.
You are okay. From all three. You feel that like concussive psychic blast.
Did it feel like holding the gem helped me at all?
Yeah, it did.
Okay, so
It felt good. It felt really good. It felt like being a little bit more... powerful,
I meant, did it help with the psychic backlash?
Yeah, it did.
Or the attack? Okay,
Yeah,
good.
it did. It did.
Okay.
So you were down to 2, no, 1 in that squad. No, hang on, 5, that was 3 you killed?
There's 2.
There's 2 in that squad. All right. So it's the squad's turn.
Did you get to go this round?
Yeah, I went first.
Yeah, he went first.
You went
he
first,
handed
okay.
off to you. Bat squad with the 2 remaining ones are going to attack you.
Okay.
They are coming at you. Actually, they're going to do a team attack against you.
Okay. I am running away again.
All right. What's your running?
My running is spending a fate point.
Okay.
That is better. Not great, but better. I think it's
Couldn't share the numbers with the
3,
GM?
I think. Give me 1 second. Because this thing does eventually go to sleep. I need to figure out how to turn that off. It is a 3.
It is a 3. You're taking 2 points of damage, but you've got armor 2 because you are a well.
And I bought it. Yep.
Yeah, so you're fine. They scratch through your clothes. They try to take a bite out of you. And had you been made out of meat and bone and flesh, it would have hurt a lot. Probably would have hit something vital like an artery or a jugular. Take your pick. That's all the same.
Not for 2 points of damage, but I mean, it's not like I'd know anyways.
The other squad's coming after you. They're making a team attack against you.
I rolled a 3 again.
You rolled a 3 again. So you are 1, 2, 3. You are taking 3 points of physical.
Ooh.
So here's something you just learned about the crystals. They're not just... These guys seem to be team learning. They're adapting their tactics to you individually. And you just pick that up. So they're snaking around the ground, they're staying out of the air. 2 of them kind of lunge at you, and one of them gets to drop on you from behind and grabs you by the calf with its teeth and just digs in. Okay. Your turn.
Just as a heads up, because you ended that round, you don't have to, you can hand off to yourself. So if you wanted to, you could end this round and start...
I understand, but for the sake, we've been doing it this way.
I'm not saying you have to, I'm saying it's an option. I want to make sure you know.
I appreciate that. It's nice when my players help the GM. Instead of the other kind, you know who you are. You do, and I know who you are too.
No, that might be debatable.
That's true.
That's better. 3 for fight.
3 for fight. Okay, and weapon two.
Just one.
Were you shifting just one? You cleave the bastard right. The one who bit you, you just turn around and just slink right through the head and the torso.
Kind of look around
And
and there, and Rosh go, "Any time, bear."
He's like, "You were doing so well."
Oh, that's arterial spray.
he's like,
Yeah, the rest of the crew isn't doing much, are they?
no. He's like, "But Rook, these are concussive shells. If I shoot at them, I could hurt you."
Change the ammo.
As you wish. And he's like, and he runs to the little staircase in the door that lets people on, and goes down below deck. Change the ammo. It was down here last time. Why does Jasper always move things? I don't always move things! You always move things. This is why you're a featherizer.
Can I just send a mental, could you help him?
Oh, it's funny, you use the word could, and it's Jasper. Jasper goes off to help him.
I am phrasing these as questions on purpose.
He doesn't have a choice. Actually, he would.
That was not a command.
In that, yeah.
And yeah,
that's not a
in the
command,
end, you're right. You're sorry. I was not. And yes, he can help him, so he goes to help him. And you hear them squabbling. It's right here. It's right here. Labeled Roscoe's ammo. It should be on the second shelf. This is the second shelf. From the top. That makes it the fourth shelf. Only if it's from the bottom. That's not how math works. You were a very hurtful young man. Your mother would be ashamed. We'll cut out. Too soon.
Oh, that's harsh.
Meanwhile, okay, so whose turn was it after that? It's top of the round. So, Pren?
Yeah, because I cut the guy. I cut the guy in half that bit my.
So there's 5 left total?
No, there's 2 left for your squad,
Oh,
and there's 4 left on his squad.
okay, so yeah, that might be a bit much to do. I'm gonna try and drop all 4 attacking
His
him.
squad.
Yeah.
All right.
I hope you know that. Is he under any of them?
No,
No,
the one that was biting my leg, I decapitated.
Yeah.
So
They are surrounding him, but they're all kind of land-bound.
Okay.
Go for it.
Ooh.
Spending a fate point. Crystal's called to me.
Okay.
I'm making that a 7.
7. Give me a second here. 2, 4. You get 3 of them.
Okay.
Just 1 explodes in front of you, 2 explode to the other side. You need to make will rolls. One roll.
6.
Cinematically, this is an amazing fight scene. Just because it's just like, get bit in the leg, hack off its head. Come on, who wants some? One of them just kind of stops toward me, opens his mouth, screech. My mouth is open. Eyes everywhere.
All right. You got 2 remaining ones.
I've got 2 and he's got 1.
Yeah. Okay. So,
I am going to, so it's top of the round. I am going to hand it to you. Charlie.
Rook.
No, because that's a player decision. What are you trying to do?
I'm just trying to attack him, but I'm debating on whether or not to spend. I won't spend. So I rolled a whopping 1 in that attack roll.
Give me a 1.
Yeah.
Just.
Weapon 2 if he manages to fuck that up.
He actually gets away. just near. He sees what happens to the and the head kind of arcs. The jaws hiss, and the rider kind of also tilts and like just a chop with the heels, and it kind of leaps to the far end of the ship.
Kind of look at him. Yeah, that's right. That was me. I made him explode with my brain.
Okay, so who are you handing off to?
You. It's the only choice left.
All right. So, last one is coming to a.
It's basically to join my squad.
Well, the last one is going to be your squad is coming after you. You got two left.
More running and ducking.
Oh, jeez. Give me a second here. I realized something. I didn't take my fate points.
Yeah, why would she take one?
You're doing fine.
All right.
I don't like this.
Okay, go for it. What did you got?
An excuse to spend a fate point. That's what I got.
Okay.
I mean, they've got crystals in them, so crystals called me spending a fate point and re-rolling.
All right.
Tell about it.
Sweet mother of toast.
Of toast?
Yeah.
7.
Yeah. I don't know if it's the calisthenics you've been doing with Chauncey or the morning jogs with Ficus around the crew or whatever, but no, it comes after you, claws snarling, it dislocates its jaw to take a bite out of the deck, and just describe how you escape with this, because you did this with style.
Woot! I get a boost. I see the one running towards joining this group, and just for cinematics' sake, we'll say that I caused it to veer into the other ones, and I actually ended up sliding directly underneath the one dragon into the porthole in the ship.
Okay. So I'm...
Not dragon. Bat.
So last one is going to try and set up an aspect. It is going to try and dive bomb into the bottles of Prem Fire. And ignite them.
Can we stop calling them awful?
I'm going to spend a fate point to reroll all of that.
You look confused.
Excuse me.
Oh yeah.
So
that's
yeah.
Whatever go.
Yeah. So Bat has got a brilliant idea. Who is ever controlling it starts circling. It sees the bottles of Prenfire just like this bomb waiting to go off and immolate the front top of the deck. You see this happen. It just makes this high climb, hits this apex peak, releases this blood-curdling, high-pitched scream, and drives full. Like the velocity is just blowing your minds. It's going so quickly. Everybody reaches out to stop it, even though they're so far away. And it misses the box by 2 feet to the left and snaps its own neck. And dies, to clarify.
I mean, it kind of did need clarification.
Everybody was just at that moment where, oh. If it was an anime, you would see it land, but the box would be in front of it, so it looks like it hit. And then, then Snow kind of just moves the box, and you see kind of its jaw kind of sticking up with the tongue sticking out at the weird angle.
Hun? What? You keep flapping into this cat. Yeah.
Maybe it didn't want to live anymore?
I'm ending this scene. I was going to say Roscoe comes back with the right ammo, and he's bickering with Jasper, and they end up shooting the last one, and they're like, we did a great job. We are the chaser. High fives, Jasper.
Well,
That happened.
the great thing about the chasers, they get to clean up. Have fun. Limp my way downstairs.
You know, I don't think he knows what that word means. I would be so sure. Rook has a very interesting and verbose vocabulary. Yeah, but that's mostly profanity. It still counts.
I don't hear cleaning.
So they get to back to work, working on the deck. Meanwhile, Bowie, I'm still the captain of the ship!
Are they cleaning?
They're cleaning.
Good.
So you guys get back down there. And no more bats for the next while. Sapphire's on duty. Ashley goes back up, and so far you guys are in the clear.
I also conveniently was already under deck.
So come back into the new library that we have there.
Yeah.
And promptly just take my coat off.
I recommend showering the bat goo off before touching the books.
Oh yeah. So I'm gonna go do that.
Yeah.
And come out. Just a shirt. Limp my way into the library, sit down. All right.
First of all, books are organized very, very nicely. Mm-hmm. He's got a little thing of tea there. He's been poring over different maps and different things. He's like, I'm guessing it went well?
Sure.
Wonderful, wonderful. Glad to hear it. Glad to hear. Back to work. Fascinating tomes, these people. Oh, these stories. Oh, warships. I mean, wow, you could fit dozens of them in a place like this. And he's kind of crewing over it. So what are you guys doing at this point?
Pretty much going back to doing what we were doing.
Researching the lore? Okay.
Well, we've got a pretty good... heading back up to Boy, telling him the correction for the course.
Okay, so yeah, he needed that. Good news is, as that is going on, how do I explain this? No, I can't actually, because it's something I would know and you would know, but not your characters. So, effectively, next 9 hours, the Havoc is on course. Surprisingly, with an asterisk beside it. No strange events. No bats. No Vulgate presence. The feeling is even you feel like you should have been targeted by a random encounter, but for whatever reason, it just feels like they went off somewhere else, and that is GM hinting for I rolled for the Vulgate Scribe, and because of the deception roll and the course correction, they were not able to pinpoint your location. Cool. So they think you're going that way, and you're not. You're somewhere else. So this is why you've got smooth skies.
Got me a Shevin for another lore check, and with her description, I'm going to start looking into giants.
Okay. So you're looking into giants, and a lot of fairy tale lore. Thing about Overworld, it's got a lot of islands and a lot of species. No one's ever seen an actual real giant.
Yeah, I'll kind of limit the cross-referencing to sentries or guardians.
Now that you do come across a lot of stuff. Number one thing you come across, they're either incredibly devout and zealous, not unlike Snow and loyal, or they have to be controlled somehow. They have to be enslaved somehow. The Guardian is never more powerful than the entity that it's guarding. Just makes common sense. What you find specifically is that from your research, the dragon Kenneth had 3 known guardians. One was effectively a giant manticore that was put together. It was mechanical. It was a Gearkind specific masterpiece that was created for it. It also had a mechanical dragon that the Gearkind put together for it. And surprisingly, the last one wasn't Gearkind at all, but it was a living construct made out of red stone to look like a phoenix. And these three entities guard the three different peaks of its specific island.
Red stone or red crystal?
Stone. So that was the lore you found on the Tanis Guardians. With Tusk Guardians, different. Didn't have the big bulky things, but in that Dragon's Island, it had several islands filled with human and worldling inhabitants, and they were devoutly loyal and militaristic. It would be like almost like a religious cult. But think more drow, think less high elves, and each one was known for being renowned fighters with, surprise, surprise, great blade weapons. So those are basically the flavors, and so each dragon seems to pick not just guardians, but guardians that kind of represent it. Mm-hmm. You know that Tanith was very much a paragon dragon, very much I do it all myself, hands on. Yeah. Whereas you know that Tusk preferred to not get involved himself, but send legions unless it actually had to.
What do we know about this dragon then? What's his name? Is it Havendur?
Havendur.
Yeah.
Havendur is older than both of them. Physiologically shorter, squatter, more rotund. Not known to be a combat dragon per se. Think if you put a dragon, a polar bear, and a walrus together, that is closer to what it would be physiologically.
Terrifying.
Makes sense though. He's the one who survived.
Was known for being incredibly wise. Not just wise in terms of life experience, but known for seeing the big picture within the big picture within the big picture. Other dragons think it within thousands of years. Havendur was known to think in terms of thousands of thousands of thousands and thousands of years.
So all it did was hole up? Something's off there.
Also, you do know that the big thing that Havendur really prized above everything else was effectively stories.
So knowledge.
Knowledge, stories, books, tomes. There's also one tale that you come across, and because you exceeded, so I'm giving it to you. There was effectively a vast worldling library that spanned an entire island, and Havendur tried to purchase it, tried to bring them in under his protection, tried everything within the dragon's power to have, this library, and each time they politely said no. They were very respectful until Havendur basically destroyed it, and he destroyed it by causing a blizzard to engulf the entire island, and that blizzard never ended. It is still there, and everything is frozen in place, including the library. It is basically in the middle of a gigantic glacier right now. So he basically...
Do we know where that island
So
is?
it's still there.
It's still there. It would be like shipping your way through Antarctica to get to the center of the Tootsie Pop kind of thing.
Yeah, but
So
this does kind of...
Yeah.
It still sounds like our kind of thing.
Do you know where it is? No, it's just a story. There's no location to this island specifically. It's an old tale.
So it might not still be frozen, and it might actually have been carted over.
I'm telling you, it's still going to be frozen, because that kind of elemental magic, once a dragon seeks out retribution, it's a forever thing.
Well, I imagine he'd be very happy to take it for himself, though.
I guarantee you that dragon took that. This dragon took that library. This is a dragon that plans for. Well, other dragons are planning for millennia. This thing is planning for tens of millennia.
Yeah, no, it's a dragon. It's a long-term planner. It doesn't make any sense. He would have taken it.
He can't have it now. He'll have it later. That's why the blizzard. Otherwise, he would have just sent fire.
Mm-hmm. Well, no, it's if he's an ice dragon, his element would be ice.
Yeah, you can still cause a fire. Just
more effort.
Not with the books. I mean, it's not hard to send in an acolyte with a torch.
That's when you hear a familiar voice. Hi, Rook. Hi, Kren. What you doing? What's with all the books?
Hey, Vickers.
Ooh, those are nice maps. I like those. Hey, there's one on dragons. I love dragons. Dragons are so neat. Are we going to see dragons? Oh, what's this book?
I really hope not.
Whoa.
Ficus?
Yeah.
Have you washed your hands?
Absolutely. And he holds them up, and they're still dripping wet.
You forgot to dry them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. I can use this book here.
No.
If you want to touch the books, clean hands and patience.
Okay.
Dry, clean hands.
Oh, all right. He goes off to find the towel. Anyway, if you see Sapphire, just tell her I have not been around. Bye.
Vickers. Give it back.
I assume he's still got the crystal I gave him, I hope, so I'm going to just yoink. I'm pulling him back to the room.
Oh, hey, I'm back.
Whatever you took, give it back.
I didn't take anything.
What? Why are you hiding from Sapphire?
No reason.
That's a lie.
That's when you hear a scream and the steps coming to where you guys are. At the door, like Snow's going to open the door, it swings wide with like a concussive force that would probably impress Roscoe. She is standing there holding a towel against her, and from the neck up, her head is yellow, and her hair is bright canary yellow. Say, where's the little bastard? I'm gonna kill him. I'm gonna kill him. He didn't do anything mostly. And he just kind of smirks. It's like, you. I know you messed around with my hair stuff. I know it was you.
Vickers.
Okay.
What'd you do?
I was pretending I was a wizard and making potions. And I was making potions with some of the shampoos. Potions he's making shampoos. It won't come off. Look at me, Rook. Look at me. No, don't smile at me. Don't smile at me. I swear to God, I will knock that smile off your flesh bag head.
Look.
Give me the rabbit. And
when you say she's yellow,
she's yellow.
Is this yellow like a paint and opaque, or is this like she turned yellow?
The crystal from here up is bright canary Tweety bird yellow.
So you can still kind of see through it, like it still has that crystalline feel.
Yeah.
Okay, but the crystal itself is turned
yellow. It hasn't turned composition. It's just yellow now.
Well, that requires a composition change.
Would you be able to?
What did you do when you were potion making?
And he's like, oh, I found these bottles, and I put them together, and he starts explaining, and like going through the motions, and a little of this one, and a little of that one, and then I put it in this, and I put it right there.
And the only bottles you took were shampoo bottles?
No, I found these down below.
Below?
In the raft, the Chimera, a ship thing.
Ficus.
Yeah.
How many times and in how many different languages do I have to tell you to not go through other people's things?
He pulls out a little piece. This would be 34.
Yeah.
Okay.
Give me the sword.
Oh, hands you over the sword, takes it.
Pirates are loyal to their crew.
All right.
Otherwise, you become a dead pirate. So let's not. If you want to be a pirate, let's not practice this.
Let me kill the rabbit, and then you can fix this. Okay? Just hand him
How about
hand him over. I don't want to...
Ficus needs to learn how a crew works.
That's great.
And you need someone to do your bitch work.
That's... Come on, Ficus. I'll show you how the catapult works. It'll be great.
You aren't going to show him it by putting him in it.
You do realize that his mother runs the...
I'm yellow.
Do you think you'll survive long enough to feel satisfied?
Oh, I'm willing to try. Actually, at this point, make a rapper roll.
Yeah, okay. Everything's fine.
So I'm trying to figure out what he added that made her yellow. What did he find?
3.
She calms down, but she's still livid. You got her from a boiling rage to simmer. That's good.
As long as she's not going to kill him.
He basically found effectively what it's an old con trick. You take a bunch of bronze coins or silver coins or tin coins, and you pour on there are various alchemical elixirs you can pour over them to make them appear like different coins. They start taking on the temporary properties of other things. So you can basically take a handful of brass shillings, pour this over them, and they start...
Pretend they're gold.
And pretend they're gold. And eventually, this is where the term fool's gold in Overworld comes from. You go home and be like, hey, I've got rent for the next 6 months. And no, I don't.
So he somehow managed to turn it into well dye.
Yeah.
Would that be a normal response from well to?
Yeah.
Okay, so it is normal. So it's not some weird magic quirk of his.
Yeah, impressive. Hey, Ficus, come on up top. Let's.
And here's the thing. With coins, because the metal, it won't last long. Crystals, it could be weeks, it could be months, it could be days, you don't know. I'm going to go with you, Rook.
It's probably for the best. Go up top. Go to the helm. Hey, Bowie.
Hey, Jasper. Rook. How's it going?
Not too bad, not too bad.
Yeah. They're almost done with the bad things there, and
That's good. Good.
So you gotta say, no, go ahead. You're up here for a reason, I'm guessing?
I am.
Because you're never here unless you want something.
No, actually, I don't want something. I'm just informing you as captain.
Mm-hmm.
Sapphire wants to skin your son alive.
Oh, really? What did he do? He said with a smile.
He dyed Sapphire yellow.
The little bunny eyebrow goes up.
He was fiddling around with her shampoos and that sort of stuff, and playing around with different alchemical mixtures.
Mm-hmm. Where did you get those from?
So you remember those potions that I told you were a really bad idea, but you bought anyway, that you covered like coins and...
Yeah, but we didn't.
But
actually, Ficus said he got them from the Chimera, not from the Havoc.
So, you know that type of stuff that you pour on like copper or brass to make them like temporarily gold?
Yeah, it is gold.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah.
He didn't.
He did.
He didn't.
He did.
He did. I think I did. So, is she dead?
Oh no.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
He's gonna be though.
Yeah.
Because
You want me to kill him?
oh, I am not getting in the middle of this. I'm just see.
I think
Figures. I want and yeah, I'm gonna roll rappers for this. Okay, I'm gonna goddamn paper because this shit's getting out of hand. Okay. So with a 4
Yep.
for my rapper,
Yep.
look at Figgis. Figgis.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not angry.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just disappointed.
Oh, I'm making a wheel roll on that one. Okay, and what did you roll on that? A 4? Yeah, you just gave the bunny 4 bouts of mental stress.
Yeah. Good. That rounds it into a complication, so you'll actually pay attention for a little while.
I'm going to give him the complication well-behaved bunny. Right? Yeah.
Now, for the foreseeable future, for so long as she is yellow, you're going to do whatever she says, so long as it doesn't directly interfere with your being alive. She can't tell you to get into a catapult. She can't tell you to walk off the ship. She can't tell you to eat a crossbow bolt that is fired from a cannon.
He actually kind of is like nodding.
She can't tell you to harm yourself, nor can she tell you to hold still while she harms you.
He's writing this all down.
She can, however, tell you to clean all the rest of the bats off the deck.
Well, to be fair, they've already been working on the bats.
Yeah, no, but you can be stuck with the rest of it.
And look at Bowie. What do you say?
He's like, yeah, that's fair. And then you guys have that talk, and everyone will notice this. Ship seems to be moving faster for some reason. It just seems to be, the momentum just seems to be pulling it faster, like it's being caught up in like a slipstream or something. You're headed on course where you should be, and it just seems to be picking up. So, and things seem to be getting kind of colder around you.
Yeah.
And Bowie's like, I don't know if this is normal for this kind of time of year. We're going to have to break up the fur coats from downstairs, not the gross fur coats, like the fake fur.
Like the good ones?
Yeah. Actually, can I send you down there with, guys, if you're not done, hurry up. It's getting cold out here. Man, it's getting, and he's starting to fight with it.
Alright, yeah, I'll go and I'll grab some
Yeah,
stuff.
we'll do that. Okay, so strategy talk here.
Roscoe!
Yes.
Where did you get the furs out? The good ones!
You're telling me it's getting colder than a mother bear's in-law's kids. And he kind of comes out and he's like, he hands you this thick, puffy fur jacket. And he's going around, but things are like, it's starting to get dark early, and the ship is making really good time. And here's the weird thing, you're not doing it. The crystals are behaving normally, they are doing what they were doing, but you're not getting...
Am I getting any sense off of it?
No, it's like crystals haven't changed in the last 9-12 hours.
So something's pulling us, but it's not doing so with the rocks. The crystals.
Wonderful. Well,
It might just be the environment.
And you guys, I'm giving for the rest of the game, there is a complication, cold as hell.
Yeah.
Everybody, including Roscoe, to illustrate the point, is bundled up, above deck, everyone's gloves, hats, yeah.
She's a crystal. Is this going to be affecting her too?
Yes, it's going to. At these temperatures, it will be. Not quite the way it will be with humans, but...
I'll tell Sapphire, like, look, for the time being, don't kill the kid. However, you do have a slave for the foreseeable future.
She looks at you. Oh, I do I? She needs to. Brooke, I love you like the brother I never wanted.
Mm-hmm.
But you owe me, and Bowie owes me, and everybody owes me.
Sapphire. Unlike love you more than my luggage. But two things. One,
this is about as far as the romance goes.
One, you're looking at the blonde. Two, I don't know you shit. Because I didn't do that. I didn't store idiot's gold on the raft. Whose was it?
Wasn't mine.
Figgis, you, me, Prem.
Jasper.
Jasper!
Yeah!
Idiot's gold?
Whoa! Hey! Did you...
Really?
Yeah, well... Okay.
You know what?
Funny story about that, big guy. Funny story. Yeah, I see,
You know what? I take it back. Look at Sapphire. You don't have a little rabbit bitch.
He's like... Here's the thing. He's got it because before she souped him up, it was the equivalent for him of a Dayglow tan. Yeah, so he would just put a little polish on in the morning, look a little more wellish. Yeah.
So,
and the other thing is, he is the last prince of the family, and you can't just, that's going to cause problems, you know that. However, I'm not saying no to that, but I'm saying there's going to be tension there. You hear Bowie calling for you guys.
For God's sakes.
Hey, Rocky!
What?
Rocky!
What?
We got a problem. We got a big problem.
All right.
Stop doing whatever you're doing with Brian and get up here.
What's the problem?
There's a thing.
What's it look like?
Climb up the stairs.
And he's like pointing. He's like hands you the eyeglass. He's like, it's a thing. And
I look.
okay, make a notice roll.
So 3. I think my notice is like a 4. But stop turning off. I think I might just actually go back to paper. No, my notice is a 4. So 4, 5, 6, 7.
There is a sky ship running a parallel course to you. There are no crystals anywhere on that sky ship. There is no magic tree growing out of the sky ship. It kind of looks like a flat-bottomed boat made completely out of metal and enclosed. And it has the weirdest, most unholy thing you have ever seen. There appears to be this large air bladder above it that's fastened. You guys haven't seen anything quite like this before. Fastened with like not chains or ropes, but these kind of like strange cables. And there's a guy on the top of the platform with what appears to be a tree staff. He's definitely human, and he's holding up like this like ornate crystals. It's not even an ornate crystal. It's a glass sphere, and he's mumbling things. And the ship is moving. It's the weirdest thing. But you just can't quite. There's no crystals. There's no propulsion.
Can I roll lore with my cultural bonus to try and see if I can think of anywhere that this sounds like it might be?
I'll let you do it.
Are you describing what you're saying?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, because you have to describe it, otherwise you can't do it.
The hell kind of boat is that? Blah, 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 blah.
If this has does this have anything to do with ancient history?
Yes.
9.
Okay.
So 8 with my cultural bonus. I think we just broke the GM.
There is one page of one book, like the oldest one you have, pre-reality bomb going off. before the dragons, before the magic.
When the surface was livable.
Well, the surface was livable, and everybody lived in a complete harmony because it was a whole world. There's reference, and politicians were noble, caring people, and there was plenty for all.
So land of milk and honey bullshit.
Yeah. There's like a lithograph of people on these strange dual-wheeled, pedal-propelled vehicles, and also one or two tiny little baskets attached to very small air bladders with heating mechanisms. They didn't really go anywhere. They just kind of floated up and down.
They went up and adjacent up.
That's your, like, your mind is broken because you're like, that's like...
This is the most amazing thing I've ever seen!
And you've never seen anything like this, but you have no reference for this whatsoever. But here's the thing: you know that big sphere he's holding is not crystal, but it's not glass, but you're definitely getting a read off of it somehow. But it's like you would be talking to a crystal, but this one is speaking a language you can't comprehend, even though I know you do it telepathically. It's just not making sense.
It's like when I tried to read the tree one.
Exactly. And he is just coming and...
Bo, can you slow down so we can get behind and get beside this guy?
Slow down! Okay! And he's like adjusting levers and pointing things, and the ship starts to deaccelerate. Here's the thing. You are moving at the exact same speed now that ship is. Bowie has basically made the Havoc come to a dead stop, and it's still moving parallel to this thing. Okay. So you guys are like, yeah, and then the floating thing is going this way. You guys are pulling up beside it. And the guy's doing his thing. Looks over, sees you guys. Oh, hi, neighbors! How are you? So good to see you! Just a moment. Waiting over at the castle in Latin. My father can sell more cars than your father can. And it's just a moment. He kind of hits the top, the metal clanging in it. The door swings open. And two people in fairly thick coats come out with masks over. And he's like, "We've got company!" And they're like, "Oh, ahoy! Hey! We thought we were alone in these parts!"
No!
and get the captain! Bang down. Captain comes out and he's big. He's big, not tall, but wide. But he's got these two beautiful whirling antlers that just splay out. You think it's like an ancient battle helm, but you know, he takes off his hood and you can see the big, gruff, like goat-like face. Where's like ahoy there?
Ahoy!
What are you doing out of these parts?
We're going that way.
We're going that way.
Well, all right then.
How are you for supplies?
Pretty good, you?
We're beginning to run out of a few things. It's like, do you have time for a parlay?
Of course.
Yeah.
And you realize that he's a goat. Like, he is a full-on mountain.
I mean, how close are we actually to where we're going?
You're not sure yet because you guys are going at such a clip. It's really, things are kind of blurring around.
Like, I mean, I think we have time for a parlay, but we're going fast.
Oh, you probably got caught up in the magic stream. We'll fix that. Gregor! Yeah, he goes off. My father can sell more cars than your father can.
Why are you making him sound like a priest?
And he waves the rod.
Blame roll.
And eventually, hover roam.
Oh God, they're from the Hover Vatican.
And eventually,
The question is, did it hover both sunken city with it?
Not only does their ship stop, your ship stops.
Oh hell.
Huh.
So you guys are just kind of floating there, and you see him like swinging like effectively a rock with a big tooth on the end of it, and throws it across for you guys to toss mooring lines and wooden plank.
Is it a rock or a crystal?
It's a rock.
It's a rock. Poop.
Yeah, Roscoe.
It's yellow.
You have the non-exploding type of rounds, right?
Yes, I do.
Fantastic.
Please have those.
Permission to come aboard, or do you want to come over to our place? We got more. Well, how many of you are there?
I just look over at Bowie, Captain.
Let's get him aboard. I prefer to control the environment.
Yeah, come over. So they come marching over, and there's 3 in like big, thick, heavy parkas with big boots and these little goggles, and you can't get a read on them if they're human or what. The goat guy, you definitely can. And this guy Gregor, he's tall. He's wearing like kind of like blue trousers. He's got like a leather jacket, but you can see the inside of the jacket, and the clothing is all like heavy fur. And he's got like his basically wizarding cap. It's a pointed hat with a wide brim, but it's also got a leather harness that attaches under his chin that stops it from blowing away.
It covers his ears as well, because Arctic.
Good to see you. Nice to meet you. This is great. Oh, look at the size. This is a classic. Oh, is this real hardwood? You don't see these anymore.
This is a classic.
They're like marching around. Oh, take a look. Oh, wow, you got this here. Hey,
classic?
How do you make it go? I don't see any
crystals.
What do you mean? Crystals? Crystals are stones. They fall. They rocks. Yeah. Are the air bladders on the inside of the ship? Internal air bladders. Now that would be a sight to see.
No, they're gravitational crystals. Same as every other
island and airship.
I've never actually.
And they're like. He's goading us, and they're like laughing. All right, you always had his gravitational crystal. That's good. That's one. Oh, hey, so how are you set for food supplies? We don't have a lot, but we got a little extra rum and a few liquors we can trade. We're kind of short on it. He gives you a short list of things. Chauncey comes up, and she's kind of bothered. Yeah.
How are we for these?
And she's like, need it, got it, want it, need it, got it, don't want it, got too much of it.
Okay, the stuff that we have too much of.
Yeah.
Can we trade?
Yeah, I can work something out with this. What do you guys want? And then she's like, let me introduce you to Lady Lucas. She's our quartermaster. Nice to meet you. I'm Lady Lucas. And she kind of pulls her thing, and she's, a heavy-set woman, probably in her 60s. You're thinking probably human, but underneath all the wrinkles, it's hard to tell. And you're like, let's see what you got here, sweetheart. And she's like, let me take you down below, and I can give you the tour. Oh, that would be great. By the way, if you guys got a privy we could use, it's been a long night. We haven't had time to take a break. And she's like, yeah, we've got several. Well, several. That's fantastic. So they kind of go off.
Seriously, you've never come across any gravitational crystals whatsoever?
They're like, no. First I heard of it. No.
Oh, hell. Okay.
So, how do you think the islands are staying up?
The islands? Oh. Well, the islands we've been on, it's the propellers that keep them going.
No.
Oh, bugger.
No, that's only the bunny.
What bunny? There's a bunny?
It's more of a ship, but it's styled like.
They look up Bowie.
No.
Oh, hey! A wormling! Oh, hey! A speciest!
Bowie. Like point to the captain.
To be fair.
Anyway, let's go down. I'm too sober for this conversation, and it's colder than my ex-wife.
You don't have an ex-wife.
Well, technically he does. It just happens to be his current wife.
I'm glad somebody takes notes.
That's not X.
Yeah, actually.
She was.
Yeah.
That's right. Past tense.
That's right. My games where they argue about people's ex-wives. Most people are fighting goblins.
Anyway, I'll take the guy down to the engine room.
So are you all right? So they're kind of coming in. Is there a place? And Bowie's like, yeah, we got a conference room on the main deck, and their eyes just go wide. This ship is crazy. So you have a conference? You've got room for a conference room? He opens it up, and you hear the gasp. There is a bar on your ship. Look at this. Did you know this?
Admittedly, this is actually kind of something cool.
I mean, yes.
This is so they're pulling up.
Yeah, I mean, it is pretty grand for a pirate ship.
This is a pirate ship.
Well, okay, bounty hunter.
Bounty hunter. Oh.
Close enough.
We hope you're not planning on robbing us.
Nah.
No.
They kind of look at each other and they're like, we were joking, we're not sure you were. So.
Well, we also weren't joking about them not interested in robbing you.
We're not interested in robbing you at all. Just, got any ideas.
So you guys are in the conference room. Who are you taking down to show the engine room?
The captain.
We're showing the engine room?
Okay.
This is kind of boggling my mind, and this will also give me an idea of what we're doing with.
Hey, what is? I point at the glass globy thing. What is that?
Oh, my trifectory. That's how I harness my magical energies and command the weather to do things. I'm a weather mage.
It's your what? Who's a what's it?
It's my trifectory.
Trifectory?
Yeah, I made it myself. And
like the word? Yeah.
No. You've never seen a trifectory before. Oh.
Have I met weather mages before?
No. You've heard stories of them.
They should be pretty common in this world.
They are? Not from your section of it. Not from where you guys are at all.
Well, no, I know, but the whole thing with my character, she's supposed to be pretty damn well traveled.
You are damn well traveled. You are damn well traveled. But at this guy and what he does and what you've heard of, this is completely foreign to you. These guys are effective.
Well, that's what I was trying to figure out, because I know we have weather mages in Overworld, but we haven't actually run into them in game.
No. Yeah. So, yes, you do have weather mages in Overworld. They're located in different spots. You guys, remember, are in the Armor City barrier thing?
No, we're not. We passed through that ages ago.
No. That's where most of it. That's where that cluster is. Basically, what I'm saying is, yes, they're out there. This is your first time actually encountering them. They're few and far between in certain islands. Anyway, just let it go at that at this point.
All right.
For now. And he's like, yeah, the outside is polished. He's like polished quartz, stone, but the inside, he cracks it open, slides it open. And inside is effectively what appears to be an egg. This is a basilisk egg, and it's one that's in perpetual stasis. It never hatches or anything. And if you find a rare one, it just generates energy, and when I put it in here, I can turn that energy into a force that I can attune myself to and use to change the weather around.
I'm trying to talk to the quartz globe he's got.
It's speaking to you. You make a will roll. Six. Hang on for a split second here. You're picking up like every fifth word. But it seems like it's a pretty interesting value. It seems like a fairly friendly crystal. It seems easygoing, glad to meet you. Like when you meet somebody from a different country and they don't really speak the language, but they've got a guidebook. That's how it's coming across.
The fuck?
So he's like, yeah. So it's I got one thing I do, and that's slipstreams.
Okay, but why doesn't the globe? It doesn't sound right.
What do you mean sound? It's not broken. I don't hear it humming or anything like that.
I can talk to crystals.
You can do what?
Oh, it's not that unusual.
It's very unusual. I have never in all my years met anyone who's a crystal talker. And he's actually genuine. Tell me, what do they say? What are they like? What do they do? Are you friends?
With some of them.
So, meanwhile, the captain's the big one with a goat head. And he's like, this is absolutely unreal. This is a thing of story. It's, I gotta say, beautiful. Look at these. Are they safe to touch?
What?
The crystals.
I mean, yeah.
Look at this.
Just don't chip anything off.
I know, and a couple of the crew members are like, there's no connection.
Someone climbs over it.
There's no connection to a power source. There's no way to direct them.
It is the power source.
Really?
Yeah.
How do you channel its directional flow?
Roger.
There's no trifectory in here, or this is
That's
poking at it, looking at the reflections.
Yeah. That actually is beyond my particular expertise. But so all the islands where you're from are all made? They're all manufactured?
Yeah, mechanical ones. Some of them are natural, but they got big propellers in them. Yeah, and other ones, are just networked together.
Okay, because where I'm from, every island's got a network of crystals underneath it, like this one, just, big enough to float around.
Our nation, you say?
And yeah, ages ago, we figured out how to put it in airships.
Oh. We've been using, we're the mechanical ones all use sluice to keep it moving.
Use what? Sleuths?
Sluice. It's when it rains, it collects in different pools, and some of the pools, it's like instead of water, it just kind of congeals and becomes all this goop, and you put a little of this goop into the engines, and then the engines just keep running for a period of time, and you just have to keep filling it up every couple of months.
It rains goop?
Yeah.
Well, no, it rains water. It's just the sluice turns it into goop, which the engine then uses as fuel.
Yeah, we've got to find sluice pools. Not all islands have them, and they don't stay up too long. We don't have a lot of islands. We just got big mechanical ones and little mechanical ones. And then you go sluice hunting looking for the tiny ones that, just afloat, but you can only fit a few people on them at a time. It's a time-consuming process. We're way out in the... And he actually pulls out a map, puts it down on one of the crystals for you. You guys are over here? They're from, way over here.
Oh.
Yeah, we've been traveling, the last 11, 12 months to get here?
Oh.
At the speed they were going?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, so you might want to turn around.
Or at least change course.
This particular section here, and I'll just kind of drift, is, how can I put this bluntly? Under siege.
Let me guess. By arc demons, right? Made out of he's describing big bat things out of bodies, he's hewn together, and great falcon, and he's describing
Well, no, the falcons aren't attacking. They're helping.
You've got corpse falcons that are helping you?
Oh, no.
No, not corpse falcons.
Corpse falcons and this, and we got this.
The corpse bats and all.
We have this one jackass. He's one of these apprentices, right? He's been he's basically described, they appeared out of nowhere about 13, 14 months ago. And
The Vulgate.
Is that what you guys call them? We call them the demons, but all right, we'll use your word. It's your shit. And he comes to claiming to represent a king or a prince or something that's missing some body parts. Wants my rack of all the stupid things that's been handed down from generation to generation. I have had this, tracing my family line since the very first.
You've got the antlers.
Of course I've got the antlers. And when I die...
I've got the crystal arm.
And he's like, wait, what?
He's got the other arm.
And they're like, you've got the arm of Prometheus, and you've got the arm of Obsidian. This is remarkable. It's like, when I die, my daughter, she will take my racket. It will be hers. And he's after all of us. And this is like, and he's getting like really excited. We're off to see the great benevolent dragon Havendur.
Benevolent might be a stretch.
The bringer of cold winds and polar storms. The dragon.
So what are you bringing to offer him if you're hoping to talk to him?
Well, same as you. Books.
Then he might be benevolent, if he's not crazy.
I didn't say he wasn't crazy. He's a dragon.
Alright, so...
Hey!
What?
Why are you offended?
Yeah.
Because we are the same species.
Wait, you're not a dragon.
I'm human. Just happen to have an arm.
No, well.
No. Barely.
I heard that.
What? What?
What did he say? Rook said barely.
Do I know which dragon I'm descended from? Do I know which dragon I'm descended from?
No.
Barely. I'm literally descended from one.
And okay, the captain's mind is blown at this point.
Okay, so we're both going to the same spot. We're both going to say, why don't we travel together? Safety in numbers.
And they're like kind of not like just a moment. They're kind of talking.
How loud is your ship?
What do you mean loud?
It doesn't have any moving parts.
It doesn't.
No, and it's sealed on the inside.
We're gonna have to get past the Guardian.
What Guardian?
We think the rock giants?
The what with the who now?
Yeah. So.
Like giant rocks or rocks made out of giants?
No, rock giants.
Rock giants.
All right. Rock giants.
Not well, rock giants.
By everything that I've read, it sounds like they hunt through sound.
Wait, you got giants that are made out of rocks.
Okay, so
that are sound hunters. No, it makes sense. I get it. They hear things because their eyesight probably not good enough.
Yeah. Especially
if they're in a vortex area. That makes perfect sense. They probably use lightning storms to oscillate the hearing a little bit better, sort of like bats do with radar.
Link.
Yes! I agree. Everything you just said is scientifically sound.
Well, thank you. Most people usually argue with me. One of the crew members looks at you and just rolls. The eyes have probably gone a full 360 degrees. They rolled back so hard.
So anyway, we should probably stick together.
Okay.
Yeah, that's probably a very good idea.
I'll go.
So what are you hoping to get from him?
I'll go break the news to Bowie. You keep talking.
Yep.
He's like, well, when Vulgate appeared, where the demons appeared, they destroyed 3 of our largest continent islands, just took them down. I can't even tell you how many tens of thousands of people we lost. Attacked us right in the middle of Summertide Festival. We had no warning there. Summertide. And it's a big festival. Everybody comes together. One of the big problems with it, one of my blessings was that the fact that I was out doing runs, bringing supplies to the outpost. So me and my crew, we weren't there when it happened, and island defenses weren't ready. Nobody expected everything because everybody's at truce time during the festival to celebrate, and then that's when they hit us hard.
Festival, 3 religious orders.
No, we got like a dozen or so.
Really?
And military orders too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but they hit us hard, and they just kept coming. Islands after islands just kept falling, collapsing. We even had the Mercenary League put together a force, and we were going to counter-strike them. That battle went on for days, and we barely got out.
Yeah, that sounds distressingly familiar. Actually.
Weirdest thing, though, there was this big black ship right in the thick of it. And it was the one that did this strike against the continent islands, the 3 ones.
Oh God, another one?
Well, that's it. It just, one day it was there, and the next day it just disappeared somewhere. It didn't go somewhere, it just wasn't there anymore.
Oh, that explains a bit.
I heard rumors that one apprentice fella, that his daddy had him calling him, so he had to take the ship somewhere else. I don't know, I guess there was a battle somewhere else going on. Anyway, he was hunting for my rack and a few other things too. Apparently his daddy is made up of all sorts of bits and pieces. He was looking for him. But I guess you already know that.
Well, the apprentices aren't actually related to him.
So he starts talking, and it sounds like different cultural, different stories, some very striking, unnerving similarities.
And some very distressing differences.
So you went where?
Go talk to Bowie.
Hey, look who it is.
There you go.
How's the captain?
Good. So they're going to see the dragon as well.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
This is a secret mission. The whole point of it being a secret is nobody knows we're doing it.
Okay, so you know how Pren has the one arm, the other arm of the prince?
Yeah, I kind of noticed these things.
Speak a little louder.
Okay, so how like Pren has the one arm, the crystal arm of the prince, and I had the gearwork arm. Did you notice the antlers on that guy?
Yeah. Okay, for starters, Rocky, come here. You could just come here.
What?
I've been hunting you for the better part of 3 years.
Yeah.
We've been capturing you. We throw you in the brig.
Yeah.
We get bounty. You escape. We've been doing this for time. We've grown up together.
Yeah.
We know each other.
Yeah.
Of course I notice when you do. I notice when you get a new haircut.
But you never say anything.
Excuse me, I don't want you to think that I care more than I do. I don't have many friends.
Oh, okay.
And the crew looks to me to be the Bowie, captain of the Havoc.
Well, true.
And I can't go fawning over my favorites.
That's true. Okay, I'll give you that.
How would it be professional if I look and say, hey, Rogue, it's so good to see you. No one says that.
Okay.
Show me a
No, hey, and that's fine. You gotta say things.
It's the fact that you think I don't.
Well, okay, but
I could be chasing any of these idiot bounties, but it's always
Focus.
going after. Yes. Here's good.
Here's the back thing.
Yep.
The antlers.
Yeah.
Yeah, you remember?
Oh, the part of the prince's thing.
Yeah.
I always thought it was a helmet.
Well, apparently when he dies, his daughter gets it.
Ha!
Yeah.
That's different.
Yeah. So, by sheer happenstance, we ran into another person holding the parts of the prince. Yeah.
Oh, that's not good, Rookie.
Well, okay, it's good and bad because based on vision, based on one of the visions that Pren had, we're going to be having to be dealing with some sort of sentry or guardian before we get to the dragon, and apparently they hunt for sound. Their ship doesn't make it. Their ship doesn't have any moving parts.
Wait, is that how they fucking do it?
There's a weather mage on board.
You're shitting.
That is a giant ball of air.
No.
Floating a giant flat piece of metal.
What?
With quarters in it.
That's.
Like living
He's like,
quarters.
he's
Living
looking
quarters,
at.
not
He's like,
quarters.
no, there's got to be something in the ballooning pot making it.
No.
Really?
Yep.
He's like, kind of going over there and it's like leaning over on the banister. He's like, so it's like two old guys. It's like, so that's how they do it down in Switzerland. That's how they make their shit.
Apparently on their islands, they're all made. They're all manufactured.
Oh, that's science fiction. No, sorry, it's Bowie. He's like, that has got to be science fiction. That's not possible. Like, I know you.
The bunny.
Yeah, but the bunny's not an island. The bunny's a bunny. It's a floating.
Okay, but just imagine that on an island scale.
That is one big bunny.
That is a very big bunny. You know, I swear I can hear puns sometimes. Yeah, that's an island the size of the
Apparently, all the islands are okay. So we're over here. Okay.
Yeah.
They are from here.
Oh, okay. Whoa. I didn't even know that was there.
Neither did I.
Okay.
So this is some interesting stuff.
Yeah. No. Okay.
So we need to keep going on our usual height. We can start moving now. I'll talk to the weather mage, see if we can start moving. Just maybe not at a
breakneck speed.
Yeah, he was apparently responsible for that. He creates slipstreams.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
the dork in the hat
with the glowy ball and the stick.
I have to move 2 ships. Hey, while you're down there and talking to him, you can tell him if he's looking for other employment. We offer substantial rates and I cover the booty and the profit. And I've almost thought about one time considering the possibility of benefits. I'm kind of.
Who would give you a benefits package?
You're not here.
I know.
Okay, thanks, rookie. Thanks, your champ. Okay. I'm guessing they probably locked the door thing on the top before they left, huh?
Yeah. Don't break it. And I'm almost positive that they didn't empty the ship to come out here. So.
No point. Just.
I'll run by.
All right. Wow. Really nothing in the balloon. Okay.
Walk back downstairs. Well, that just happened.
So you guys are in the conference room, and I'm just going to say that some food has been made, and the crew's basically got all their jackets off now, and they're all kind of sitting around. Couple things. They are as in awe of your ship as you are of theirs. And they're like, this is a classic. This is built like the old-timey sailing vessels. Oh my god, how do crystals work? Oh my god, they've got a crystal mage who's actually made out of crystals, who can talk to crystals, and doesn't need a trifectory. What?
Wait. Have you never met a well?
No, you're my first.
Good way of wording it, thanks.
Yeah, and Chauncey is like pouring flagons of booze to make people happy, and passing some, and then
Not too much booze, Chauncey. I know you like to make them strong.
She's like, you know me too well. Sapphire is there. Yeah, and she's wearing like more human clothing than normal too, so she only
to hide the
And so Gregory is just like smitten when Sapphire comes in, because she used to be an entertainer, and he stands up of his chair. He tries to make that big swooping gesture with his hat, forgetting that it's buckled into place. So he gets
yoink.
My lady. She's like, oh, aren't you sweet? Giving the prem, what the hell is going on here, look. I honestly just came for a stiff drink, and so there's how does the ship go? You're well. What does that mean? What about this prince fellow you've been telling us about?
So
how did you find your rock? They're asking all the questions
all at once. I see.
Yeah, so I'm gonna just hand wave that scene and just montage it.
Yep, because honestly, we're kind of boring to watch.
I'm gonna fast forward it and say you guys are actually having dinner right now with these guys.
Okay,
so you're all seated at the table with the captain, his first mate, his daughter, and basically their chief engineer. It's you, it's Bowie, it's Roscoe, and it is that's basically it.
That's it.
Yeah. Jasper is keeping Snow away from everybody. And everybody else on the crew is just making still all hands on deck to make sure no more bats show up.
Okay. So, it's getting to Havendur is not going to be as easy as you guys seem to think it'll be.
And they're like, why is that?
Because he doesn't want to be gotten to.
Okay, what makes you think that? What's your source of information?
The first dragon?
The very first dragon.
Yeah.
Okay, so the very Loxon Kane told you something?
Sorry, what? She never gave me, they never gave me her.
Loxon Kane, the first dragon.
She never gave me the name.
Oh, okay. And he's basically saying that's their name for the first dragon.
Okay. Yeah.
And they're like, there's some, I need you to roll a rapport for this one.
I think that should be a 3. I think I upped my rapport to a 2. No, that is a 2.
That is a 2. Give me a split second. I think that is actually enough for you.
Hold on a second. Can I see your sheet? Because you've been keeping up with your upgrades, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, listen.
I missed a couple updates.
So...
Oh, you know why? Because every time we hit a major milestone, you're just like, yay, refresh, and then you just don't do anything with it.
You know what? They don't buy it. They're
Hold on a second.
They're actually...
Hold on a second. I have 2 skill points I have not spent, and one of those is going on rapport because it was on my to-do list. So it's a 3. So it's a tie.
It's a tie.
I'm assuming.
Put it on your damn sheet.
I'm doing it now.
The chief engineer is really interested in you, and he is like, just, do you mind if I see a little bit more of the arm? I haven't seen craftsmanship. This is unprecedented. My God, this should not even be possible. And you've got sensation all the way through this?
Yep.
That's remarkable. Remarkable, sir. How did you ever come by this?
I just want to make sure I don't give myself too much.
Ah, wise words. Wise
I mean,
words.
I actually mean it. I went to craft something, and then the arm kind of came with it.
Oh, I have to hear this story. He's kind of leaning back, and you can see he's actually thick. He's short. He's squat, but it's all muscle and tattoos for some reason.
Oh yeah, I'm moving on like that.
Robert?
Yep. That is also a 3, because I can't seem to roll anything other than neutral.
You know what? Good enough for him.
So yeah, and then when I came out of whatever the hell Puke said, I had the gunblade in my hand, and then it just kind of spread.
He kind of leans over and he gives you, and he just kind of pulls off his one glove and he shows you a very thick, heavy iron ring with a symbol in it, like a religious order of some kind. Mm-hmm. It's 3 gears interlocking. He's just like, yeah, I know what you're talking. And he's like, I know what you're talking about, brother. Just leaves it there like, you know what that is. You so know what that is. He obviously knows it, but it's just
literally just like
he's a member of an order who assumes that you know what that is.
Yeah, I'm just assuming that it's roughly the cultural equivalent of the same thing, just probably under a different name.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I'll bring out the I'll bring out the gunblade and
eyes go wide at this point, and
they piss you off?
No. Captain raises an eyebrow, and he kind of chief mechanic's like, "Oh, it's fine. He's just showing me," and he's just like cooing over this. Here's the thing: he's human. Mm. He's not Gearkin, but he starts speaking perfect Gearkind dialect. The clicks, the whistles, the little turny sounds that the gears make themselves, he's fluent. And he's actually like, you don't even know how to do this.
That's impressive. I could never wrap my tongue around that.
Oh, he's like, it's all.
I can understand it. I just can't speak.
He's like, it's the throat, and he's like, he pulls it down, and he starts pushing on the larynxes, and it's just like showing you years of voice training, and like, yeah. I was out on.
Is this a wizard guy or someone else?
The engineer.
Okay.
I was out former military, and I was out on this one listening post for a year and a half. I only had a gear kind, and he was from neighboring island, and he didn't speak my language. I didn't speak his, so somebody had to learn. Turned out I lost that bet. We're on it, and he's going on about it. Yeah, so Sapphire and the wizard are chatting. Captain seems really interested in you. He's like, so tell me more about the crystal. You said you had the crystal arm, and I can.
Oh, hold on a second. I take it off my back. It's a sword.
It's like that's part of his arm. That was actually part of the Demon Prince. It's like, my God.
Well, so was that.
It's true. We went through a lot to get it back.
So you guys still haven't answered. What are you hoping to get from Havendur?
We're hoping to wake Havendur up and to have him join the fight against the prince.
No, he's not gonna.
Well, you don't know that. You know, we've got away with
last time the prince showed up, he locked down his islands.
To be fair, though, the prince showed up last time. He was at full power.
Yeah. And he's like, no.
And shut down two other ones?
But at full power, though.
He's not. He's stayed locked down ever since.
That's not how it happened. He didn't flee. What he did is he's protecting the Ark Vault from the prince. If the prince ever found it, he would be unstoppable. He's the only one who acted wisely while the other ones were all fighting and getting involved in their petty battles. He was the one who saw the
instigating it.
No.
Yeah.
And at this point, Yair is actually, I need you to make an empathy roll.
I did not make that empathy roll.
What did you get?
It's terrible.
It's pretty much told someone that faith is wrong.
What did you roll?
Give me a second. -2.
You just took 4 points of mental stress.
Huh?
Or there's no social stress. But how do we do this? Because effectively,
After negotiations just broke down. If this was in like a combat situation, she would be taking stress. It doesn't really.
No, it doesn't.
Because he wasn't.
So let's do a consequence. Would a consequence? How would we do this?
This is just.
Like when you said the moment you paint Havendur in anything but a good light, like his hackles got up, and to suggest that it's basically your God is wrong.
Very much.
Which, to be fair, you would be entitled to say because you are that God. But still, there's a time and a place. I mean, you take a dump on the pillow when the person's still not sleeping on it.
Yeah, I'll kind of be like, I think what she means to say, where we're from, our texts have one story, and I have a feeling that yours say something completely different.
I need you to roll rapper for this.
Yeah.
This is not.
I will not undermine you by saying, you mean our gods say one completely different thing? I said I will not undermine you.
By the way, this is not your ordinary, you need something really good.
How about a 6?
That'll do it.
It
does it, but it doesn't do it with style.
That's fine. I was just like, look, I can actually show you some of the texts from our part of the world.
And he's like, I'll take you up on that offer, provided I can show you some of ours.
Oh yeah, of course. And I'll lead him. I'll lead him over to like the library section. And I'll be explaining like.
Then you have a library section that with its own librarian. Like he does. His erection can only get so hard at this point.
But effectively, I'll be saying stuff like, well, you know how when you tell one person a story and then they move to the next one,
it's like I don't.
And then it changes. Well, try to imagine how much that story would have changed halfway across the
No, he actually pulls out like a small codex and pulls it out. His version of the events, very, very quickly, because I don't want to bog down the game in it, is that Tusker and Tanithdur are known as the Lying Dragons because they both went back on their word. They said they wouldn't get involved in affairs. First one was Tusker got involved. Tanithdur said he would not come and deal with it, came in and dealt with it. Then they both died, and the big story is that, you break your word, that's what you reap what you sow in the tides of foolishness. However, foolish dragons, long story short, are not worthy of the treasure they keep. So Havendur realized that treasure, weapons, things of vast importance for all of Overworld were basically at risk, and rescued them before knowing the prince, and is basically stockpiling the collective culture, artifacts, relics for the sake of all the species of the world, acting as its final guardian. And so the prince won't be able to, no matter what happens, will never be able to be successful. That is the mark of a great martyr. So, but genuinely, believes it.
And I'll show him 2 or 3 texts at the end. I'll just flip over to
Are we getting into a book?
Well, it's not really a book war. It's just like, okay, well, this is this version of it. This is how much. I will word it specifically. This is how much the story changed by the time it reached our section of the world.
He will go with that, and he's like, please, if I offended your lady.
Oh no! It's just.
If I offended your stone witch, please pass along my sincerest apologies. I meant no disrespect.
Probably best never to refer to her as a stone anything, and then you should be good.
Duly noted. So, fast forward. They made the exchange.
Just random.
Okay, but we were talking about going, basically hopping ship and going with them.
Yeah, but they've made the exchange between the Havoc and the Persephone, which is the name of their ship. And they're like, okay, well, they're willing to go along with this.
Okay.
The only problem is they bring one of you, one of their crew has to stay. They bring 2 of you, 2 of their crew has to stay on the Havoc. It's a very small ship.
Okay, well, there needs to be me, you, and there. I can't leave Jasper to go through that again.
Okay, so 3 people. They need. Choose 3 people. Or choose 4.
So the captains will basically sit down and so they'll take you. They'll take what he wants to know what Jasper contributes. What is his skill set?
He is a phenomenal pilot.
Okay, so
doesn't really help in this particular aspect, but he's also good at building stuff for.
So he talks to Bowie, and effectively they do a crew exchange. So you Jasper, and Prana are going to come aboard. His daughter is going to stay with him. He will also be there, and Gregory will be there with them as well.
Okay, when you say he's going to be staying,
so the captain, his daughter, the wizard, of their crew are going to be on the Persephone.
Okay, that's what I wanted, that bit. Okay.
Jasper and Rog.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a small crew.
Yeah, they've got 6 people. And it's very tight. It's very tight because everything is operationally based in there. It's efficiency.
Okay. Before we go, we can't let them wake Havendur. He's actually sleeping. There's an extremely high chance he will be insane. And we do not want to deal with that insane dragon.
Question. As the GM, are you going to take Ficus with you because he will fit?
I mean, he can be useful. But he's also a child. And we're going into a dangerous situation.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I do not want to take Ficus with me.
As every parent has ever said, the child can stay with his sitter. We'll pay her double.
No, the child can stay with his
parent?
Parent.
So, you guys, how do we want to do this? Do we just want to go to you guys getting on the ship and going directly to the island? Well, yeah.
Might as well.
Okay. So, effectively, that's what happens. I'm just going to say that you and Bowie make plans to meet up after this is done. You've got a way station, a rendezvous point, and so they're effectively, if anything is following them, which they doubt, they're going to kind of take a course all over the place. That said, flying on the Persephone, very tight. Everything is metal. There's no luxury at all. It is bare bones. Your cots are basically hammocks swung between metal poles. I knew you'd like that.
You and your hammocks.
Yeah, man.
Rations are tinned food, tinned vegetables, tinned meat, tinned water.
Please tell me we have food for Pren and Jasper.
Yeah, because the quartermaster made sure that you guys were well provided for. So Gregory is able to effectively, it takes 2 days of slipstreaming. At the end of it, you get to the outer edge of basically the ship graveyard. Lightning storms, dark skies. Just on approach, you see broken skiffs, debris of broken up islands kind of in orbit around it. He's actually had to slow the Persephone quite a bit. When Gregory isn't on top of the ship, making it go, he's sleeping, like a dead rock sleep. It takes a lot of time to do this. As you start getting closer and closer, you'll see the odd flash of lightning, and it'll illuminate 1 or 2 ships just on the outer. And as you start making your way, it gets slower and slower. And you see warships shattered in half. You see corsairs that have been splintered with multiple boulders, roughly half the size of the havoc that have been thrown through them. You see a couple of other. Basically, there's a couple of ships that looks like larger versions of the Persephone but have been mangled up, and the bladders are mostly deflated. But same thing, it looks like they were bludgeoned.
Is it like a mixture of like our type of airship and theirs?
Yeah.
Okay.
And also worldling airships, which look more grown than anything else.
Worldling?
Well, not worldling, Thorn. Which have the crystals embedded into like the trunks of
the tree thing. Yeah.
I think we're not the only ones that tried to make an appeal.
Yeah. So it's.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. The dragons.
Make a notice roll, both of you.
Oh, I was gonna say I'm gonna be trying to see if I can sense anything interesting with the crystals.
Which crystals? Specifically.
I'm checking out the crystals on the ships we pass.
Effectively, let me deal with this first.
Sure, and I got that should be a 6.
I got a 3.
I just forgot what I was having you roll for.
Notice.
Thank you. Okay, so you got a 3 and you got a 6. Not only do you notice the wide range of ships, you notice the historic designs of them. Some of these ships are hundreds of years old. Some are older. Some you recognize the name of at least 2 battleships the Behemoth and the Travolga. And these are like ancient ships recorded in historic documents. The Trafalgar's hull has been bludgeoned to hell and back. It's probably 4 times the size of the Havoc, and it was pure military.
That thing. Holy crap!
Like this is an archaeologist's wet dream. Like you know how we got the Bermuda Triangle and ships have gone missing. This is where they're kind of at.
We can, like, once we're done and we're coming back, we can stop 2 places, right?
I would assume so.
Okay, because that ship and that ship, historically speaking, would probably make the prince's ship their bitch.
Yeah, pretty close.
That thing.
So where are you planning on putting them, or how are you planning on moving them?
Really nothing. We just need to get the power sources back up and running and fix the hull on that thing, because that looks like someone decided to make it a chew toy. No, wait, that's a... I'm not even gonna pretend that's Bismarck.
What you get, the crystals, some of these crystals are ancient even by well standards. Some of the voices you hear faint glimmers of a few crystals scattered throughout the area you are at, but the resonance you get, the voices, it's like meeting somebody who speaks perfect Gaelic from like 300 years ago versus to how people think it's actually said now. That's what you're getting.
You know those jokes where he's like you cut an old person up, the person is so old they bleed dust. You hear dust. Like
yeah.
Wow.
You're something that does.
Shit, some of those have got to be powerful to still be alive.
Something that does catch your fancy is that there is a very small 4-person crew well vessel, and it is absolutely unique in that it is completely made of crystal. It is unique, well designed, smooth, contoured, arcing back. It is its own. It doesn't have crystals onto it for an engine room.
It is the engine.
Just tap the wizard. I mean, could you just like maybe swing by that particular crystal with
I'm actually going to. I'm gonna see if I can power it up from here.
Okay. First of all, okay.
I can't say. Well, unfortunately, you don't have any like. My God is greater than your God. Like you just kind of think, and then it happens. So there's nothing.
You can kind of see me.
Yeah, but you're staring at an ancient well ship. I figure you're doing the same thing that I'm doing.
Actually, Gregory is like just amazed to watch her do her thing because there's no trifectory involved.
5.
And you're trying to activate it?
It should be quiet. I don't see anything on it that would make noise.
5 is superb. You were able to speak to it. And hang on for a second. Let me check it on my end. Okay, so the answer is both yes and no. You were able to speak to it. You appear kind of in the middle of a courtyard, except instead when you deal with your crystals, which is all black and liquid, this is all kind of pearl and opalescent. It's a very different kind of experience for you. And the form of the crystals, it's like interacting with the well. They look a lot closer to Lady Penelope. Smooth, flowing lines, diamonds, kind of thing. and you appear there, and they all kind of turn to you, and they're shocked, and they say a few words to. Excuse me. And they're like, no shaka, no tor, no shaka, no tor. And they're like, no shaka, no tor. And they're like, oh, and then they lead you kind of down this pathway. There's the courtyard, and the center of the courtyard is effectively what would be a diamond sundial, except it's broken. Like the point in the center of it is like fragmented in five or six different pieces. And they're like, and they're pointing to it. It's like no shaka, no tor. So it's like no shaka, no tor. And then they kind of point to the outside. One of them makes this wide sweeping gesture, and that's when you see the. It looks like a scene from a film from way back when it's definitely sailing through the same graveyard you're in now. Fewer ships by far. And that's when a barrage of these boulders, easily half the width of the havoc.
Oh, the hat. Oh shit.
Just like 5 or 6 of them just nailed the side of them. The first 2 killed the captain and the other crew. The other 2 spun it off course. It collided into another ship, and the other one shattered the right-hand side of it. And there's a thick crack going on through the other side. You can't see it from where you are. And they're explaining, no shaka, and they point to the sundial that's broken, no tor. And I'm going to get them to make a notice roll on that. And they sense something from you. And they become very agitated. They're kind of looking you over specifically to where you would have been carrying the sword, but they're sensing. I'm actually going to offer you a fate point now for the crystals call you.
And I will take it, because, yeah, why not?
And the one who's been like no shaka, no tor, has a look of horror, and it points to the other ones, and then points to you, no taka dama, and they just kind of take a few steps back, and then they just push you out of that connection. They severed it from the inside. They sense the prince's crystals about you, and were like, get out. You don't belong here. Get out.
Did they say that, basically?
That's the impression you're given.
Yeah, you get a little shorts.
Yeah, you do, and it's called blood. You kind of got a little coming from the nostril. Well, blood coming down.
Fuck, they pushed hard.
What?
They sense the prince's arm. The corruption.
Is that bad? Is that a thing? Is she gonna be okay?
Yeah, she.
Yeah, I'll be fine.
You know how you sleep like a fucking rock?
Oh man! Don't wait. Is that? Can I say?
Yeah, you can say rock. Just don't call her rock. Yeah. Anyway, it sometimes takes a little out of her. Sometimes
he takes out like a silk handkerchief and starts like daubing the blood to.
Thank you. So I wipe out the blood.
They pushed back. I didn't know that was possible.
It happens all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, if they're uncooperative for some reason. They were completely cooperative until they sensed Prince's arm's corruption.
See, this is why I should be able to talk to them. I should just smooth things over.
Good luck with that. They don't speak English.
What did they say?
No shaka, no tor. And then I repeated the other one.
Okay, this is going to be a stretch even for you.
9.
God damn you! Is it really?
Yeah.
It can't be.
Lore, 5, plus 2, 7. Anything to do with ancient history?
Jesus
9.
Christ! Okay, well, yes, as I read from my many copious volumes of Ancient Wild Languages, the 3rd edition, then I happen to be perused.
I'm somehow fluent in.
No shaka, no tor. No shaka means no guidance. No tor means can't move. Their guidance system got hit.
Oh, their guidance system got fragged.
Okay, so yeah, shit, you understood it? Just for...
Is it, okay, so to be fair, there is a long story and a well library.
And the GM really wants to hear it. Because you rolled a 9 and made me sweat that out, so fuck you. I want to hear this story.
Okay, so there was this small island, but in order to get any information, there was this well librarian. The woman was just amazing. I should probably swing around, but I don't know again. I don't know if she's still there. Anyway, long story short, in order to get into...
You're such positive.
in order to get into a specific mausoleum that had Gearkind and well in it, there needed to be a catchphrase in order to actually open the thing, and it was in an ancient well dialect because...
Ancient.
Well, the Gearkin don't put voice activations on something. That's just dumb because people can mimic voices. The well count on the ancient nature of their species in order for no one to be able to understand it. Let's just say that while the time that I spent with her, I picked up a few things.
All right.
Okay.
So anyway, it can't run if the guidance system is screwed up.
Yeah, I did get that from what they showed me.
So that's just it. If we went there and you fixed it and then connected with it, they'd be able to.
They'd probably still be pretty hostile.
Well, yeah, if they knew who. Do you just show up? Do you not introduce yourself?
Not when I don't speak the same language.
Have you tried?
I was kind of more stunned. It was very weird.
Very weird. For you, it was very weird. They've been laying dormant for God knows how long, and then this random well person shows up, and they're like, oh shit, we have guests! And it's weird for you. Wow. Perspective. Just trample on in there, going straight for what you want.
No, actually, I didn't go for anything. I just showed up, and they led me there.
He seemed really nice. He was really into me. Yeah. Did you ask him for his number? No, something else. They did say something else to you besides no shock and no tor.
Yeah, they called me a demon.
Well, I'm just going to hand wave this and say that you tell him he's able to translate because 9 does beyond stuff.
Yeah, I know. Whatever it is, it wasn't good.
No, it was not.
No, because it translates to the prince's acolyte.
Yeah.
Hold this. I handed you the sword. Does it do anything to him?
No.
Okay, that's good. I'm trying again.
Gregory pulls up one of the umbrellas.
They will be so mad with you, and you do not want them mad at you.
Oh no. They have to introduce themselves. And I speak their language. And I...
Oh, you cut me!
Did it really?
No. Thud hits you with the umbrella.
Thematically, I kind of want the sword to gravity push him into the wall because he's being frivolous with them. They are pretty stuck up about their pride.
I'll give it to you.
I told you they'd be mad.
Grow up!
Okay.
So I tried again. This time I got a 6, and I'm not holding the sword.
Okay. So you appear. Same people. They see you again.
No sword. No sword. No corruption.
They're looking at you and they're like, they kind of nod. And they're like, no shaka, no tor. And they're pointing to the sundial.
Where is it? Like, is it the sundial?
Is that what they're pointing to?
Like, is that what it is? It's not a metaphor? It's literal?
Yeah.
I'm going to try and fix it through the vision. I know it's probably going to be more difficult.
Are you using the black crystals in any capacity? Please?
I'm not touching them.
Yeah, that's not what I asked.
No, because I can't. Actually, I really don't think that's a good idea.
Because you've been able to access other profane crystals at a distance. So, are you using any crystals to help you, or is it just you?
I'm going to use the regular old, not black crystals.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah.
All right.
They do not seem to like the idea of me using the black crystals. I think I'm going to pay attention to that.
Okay. I'm sure nothing can go wrong.
Everything's fine.
It's fine. It's okay.
You still have a divine intervention fate point, so you should be good.
Yeah, all will be well. Unless it's not.
I'm not liking the way the GM is responding.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I'm sure it'll be okay.
Stop doing this. You're trying to unnerve me.
Hi.
Yes, you
It's a
are.
millennial ship. I'm sure it's fine.
It was mostly a pun, and he said, all will be well.
And I'm glad someone...
I did notice. I just did not appreciate it.
That's why Charlie's in game. He appreciates it.
I'm going to spend a fate point. One of my...
You were spending those. That's great.
She's got like 17.
Oh, she's cutting down. Must be lunch.
Smart asses. 8.
And you're trying to heal it?
Yeah.
Okay. Give me a second on this one.
Do I want to spend another one?
Yeah.
We're still going to have to avoid the things this round, I think, so...
Yes, okay. It does work. You are able to bring your energy into it. It flows out, and just this tiniest spider web of new crystal begins to form, and it's slowly beginning to repair itself. Here's the thing, a lot of damage was done to the ship. This is just begun the very start of the healing process. You're not repairing the ship, you're healing it. Mm-hmm. So even if you leave right now, the healing process will continue. It is going to take several weeks for that ship to be completely restored and functional. If you had not rolled as high as you did, not only would it not be possible, it probably would have shattered. But it is beginning to mend, and they are very grateful. They're just like, jubilant. They're like looking at each other and hugging each other and holding and singing, and they're coming over to you and holding your hand and like hugging your neck, and like you can actually see the light radiating out of them. Like they are overjoyed because it means they can finally leave this death sentence. The crystal is such high quality and so ancient that it's physiologically it is so much more complicated than anything you've ever encountered. That's how they made the ship. The ship isn't just a piece of crystal. It was a piece of crystal taken from the well, who was the pilot, and then grown so they can facilitate it. The ship is actually a gigantic extension of the well pilot. So
But the pilot's dead.
Pilot's gone. You saw that in the vision. When it hit, they went over.
Yeah.
Yeah. However,
So there's...
because remember what happened when you healed or ghouled Jasper? You put some of your energy into that and embedded it, and that's what gives the proximity thing with him. You just did that to the ship. So
I gotta figure out how to heal things without doing that.
So the new growth and the new healing will eventually be it'll be genetically encrypted to you as well after this multi-week process of healing.
Okay.
When she comes back,
I'm gonna before I leave, I'm gonna try and come back. I can't guarantee I can.
And they're like, Talanor, oh my god, Talanor, hugs, oh.
Hi.
Blessed be their plan, the great healer, salvation.
Oh, great.
But you come back, I'm like just looking at this sort of look. All I'm saying is she's trying super hard to help you guys.
You snap back right at
And sometimes you guys can be a bit of a bitch. I'm not trying to be that guy, but like, you cut her some slack. She's doing everything she can.
I am surprised you're not getting blasted across the room again.
Some of us are polite when we speak to other people.
Would either of you care for tea? I put some on while he was monologuing. Ooh. Chamomile?
Yoink, thanks.
So how was your adventure?
Oh, the ship's happy.
How can you tell? Is it because the little
Probably
just sticking
probably
out?
the same way you'd be able to tell if you're focused there.
Oh, trifectory, yes. Oh, that makes perfect sense. Okay. Just a question. How are we going to get in there? And that's when 2 twin bolts of lightning go off.
Oh, before we go any further, they were throwing boulders like half the size of the Havoc.
Okay, well, they rely on sound, so
we need
this
to
thing
be fucking quiet.
makes no noise.
No noise at all.
All right, then.
So we do, so
we just need to be quiet.
And another blast of lightning goes off. And you can see the top spire of the Havendur Island. This thing is like gigantic. And that's when you see 2 forms, one on each. There's 2 smaller islands near the peak. And you can see these things. These things, the story did not do these things justice. If you took the Havoc and did this to it, that's probably how tall they are. And you just see those large, dark, humanoid forms slowly, like, turning the big, thick heads, the eyeless sight, and it's just, you hear the sound of, like, rocks just being shredded as they slowly reach from the island that they're on and begin to lift them up. And that's where we kind of cut scene out.
Are we taking a break?
It is 10 after 10 right now.
You want to end?
I was going to end game. And
while we're staring at giants in a fog. Great.
Well,
nothing bad will happen now.
I was thinking we could take a break. I'm actually getting hungry, and also, in case everyone hasn't noticed, I finished my degree today. So I was also going to celebrate by ordering us pizzas, like real pizzas. By us, I mean you two.
Yeah, none for you guys.
Yeah, so I'm comfortable ending game there right now. I mean,
all right.
It's downtime. Yeah.
Fine.
Okay.
And go so, yeah.
Moderate milestone for both of you.
Woo!
Not that Mariah will use it.
Switch around. We don't actually get a skill point, but we get to switch them around a little bit. So.
With moderate?
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, it's moderate. I'm really excited about this pizza, by the way. I promised myself that I would throw a pizza party once I got my last assignment and last class done. And it allows me to go off my diet this one time, so I'm...
Ian says congratulations.
Thank you.
Calls you a college man. Actually, it was his master's degree, so...
Second master's.
I wasn't going to point that out.
Waste of time, both of them.
And I'm glad you had fun, Ian.
Yeah, I got to go back and read the comments because I can't see them, but they can, and they never share.
We share.
You don't
some.
share. You never share.
We've shared a few.
Lies.
I didn't.
No,
not at all. All right, well then I guess we are heading off. Have a good night.
Have a good night, everyone. Thank you so much. Thanks, Ian. You're awesome. We love you.
All right.
And Voin and everyone.
I think Voin already left.